Alright, everyone, it's the Grim Lord here, and this is Grim's... Well, it's actually Grim Rants into the Heavens live. I'm doing something different. It's just gonna be me ranting and people can jump in. But basically, I've got a lot to talk about, and I'm not gonna be doing any small rants videos. Instead, I'm gonna bring them all into one thing, because I got a lot to talk about. So, let's start with what's on my shit list. Another goddamn moralist that wants to go ahead and talk shit about Lolicon. And he didn't just talk shit, he wrote a very big article with a lot of research points where he researched, he showed different studies. And I will cite the studies, so if you guys want to look and see what he's talking about or, anything like that, so you guys get information, feel free to do so, because I want you guys to go back and kind of fact check them and study check them. You know how they are with this shit. But I have it here in my general room, and there's been quite a few memes, but we will find it. Because I'm getting everything ready for our, our Sunday, well, no, it's Monday Grim Rant show, of course, where we're going to be talking about more articles. Alright, so just give me a second. Oh, that is something I definitely want to talk about. I forgot about that. Alright, here we are. The Lotus Eaters. Consent is not a moral standard. This is by Connor Tomlinson, published 20th of January at 10 o'clock in the morning. There's an audio version of this, too. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Now, I don't know if I'm going to play the audio version. I think I'm just going to go through it so we can kind of break it down. But he did talk about this, and it's about 13 minutes long if you want to listen. There is a... It looks like a lolly character, but it looks like something they made with, computer... Yeah, it's AI. It's computer animated. I can tell where it fucked up. Because they weren't going to go just pick any picture, because they knew they'd get fucking shit if they took an anime picture and said, oh, this shit's bad. But they used the CGI to make this anime character. Anyway, in recent segments on the Balenciaga scandal and Mastodon, Harry and I kicked a digital hornet's nest by condemning illustrated child pornography. Notice that's what they're calling it, folks. Illustrated child pornography. Lolicon, a manga subgenre depicting sexualized characters with childlike features and named after Vladimir Nabokov's novel about a pedophile, is defended as just a drawing, and therefore not hurting anyone. Now, they try to say, okay, childlike features, you're going to find a lot of that when you go into places in the Orient, like Japan, the Philippines, Korea. There's a lot of women there that aren't built like, I guess you could say, the modern American or Western woman. They're going to have smaller breasts, if any. Like, some of them have very small, you can't even really tell. And they've also got younger looking faces. They're petite, they're smaller, they're tinier. So yeah, they may look like and appear to be children, but they're full-grown adults. And I have talked several times about this, where I've mentioned pictures of Japanese women in their 30s that look like they're 12. It's ridiculous how this is a thing, and sometimes it's makeup, and sometimes it's just really good aging. But they just are masters of this. And we've really got to think about that. And unfortunately, the Western mindset is not this. We don't have many people in the West that look like the Asians. As a matter of fact, a lot of our Asians over here are getting fat. There's a lot of people I know, personally, that have gained quite a lot of weight besides, other than them being Asian. You'd think, oh yeah, Asians don't gain weight. Yeah, they do. They gain weight if they eat the same bullshit we do here in the United States, and some of them do. So you will have a lot of Asian women packing on the pounds and going with the plus size movement, which is ridiculous because that's just not the Asian diet. That's why they don't gain a lot of fucking weight, because they eat completely different shit. Okay, so He says, I would suggest that if your hobby shares its namesake with the Lolita Express, the colloquial name for Jeffrey Epstein's child trafficking jet, you're doing something reprehensible. So, calling it Lolly because Jeffrey Epstein named his fucking jet the Lolita Express, which is kind of sus, by the way, is...
By the way, that's not colloquial when that's the actual name he gave it.
Yeah.
So, obligatory sidebar, I'm being a grandpa Nazi. I don't care, though.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
I gotcha.
Wow, Whip, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Had to.
Anyway, for real,
continue.
though.
Oh, right, yeah.
Properly.
Alright, hold on. Alright, that ought to work. I couldn't hear you guys, so I had to turn you up just a little bit. Might even be the music, but that's okay. But, alright, so where was I? Alright. Obviously, when I jump out of something, I have to jump back in. But, it says, sorry to break the bad news, but consent is not the be-all, end-all of morality. Consent is one moral foundation. Morally loaded language indicates a reciprocal preference to avoid non-consensual acts. For instance, the concept of murder acknowledges that it is always non-consensual. Well, I have an odd wrench I can throw in there. Is it consensual when somebody asks you to euthanize them? That's a hard fucking... I mean, that's not something that a lot of people want to get into, but it is absolutely a thing that happens. There are older people that are struggling, they're miserable, and they're in pain all the time, and they really want somebody to get them out of their misery, and they just can't handle it anymore. Now, I know that the act of murder is, in general, not something you should do, but think about it. You know, if somebody's asking you... Oh, and also, we have the military. What about the military that go and fight, you know, the bad guys, or, you know, whatever country we're warring with? You know, they're called heroes, and they go and fight and kill all these people with families and children and stuff like that, right? So, I mean, but you'll praise that. See, the conservatives will praise that. Look at these brave heroes that fought and killed all these people. But murder is always non-consensual. But if I don't know, it's weird. It is always tautologically unwanted, and thus an unjust incursion on autonomy. Therefore, murder is objectively immoral between humans, the only perspective from which we can speak. What about if you were sacrificed in an Aztec temple? Do you know how the Aztecs actually treated the people that were sacrificed? They treated them as fucking gods. They would adorn them in gold and jewels, and they would have a great feast. And they would be like, yeah, I want to get sacrificed. And it was being sacrificed to you as a good thing. It was like, oh, I'm giving my soul to, like, the sun god or something. So they looked at it as a good thing. So it's a completely different situation depending on the society. But it does not follow that all consensual acts are moral. Listen to this. It does not follow that all consensual acts are moral. A moral system predicated on John Stuart Mill's utilitarian harm principle, concerned solely with preventing one from violating the rights of another, is incapable of asserting a nourishing normative standard of what an individual should do. Let's start with the canard, I'm not hurting anyone. Appeals to minimizing harm or all admissions of intent to circumvent on let's try that again. Appeals to minimizing harm or all admissions of intent to circumvent a prohibition on vice. They are arguments from a position of weakness, admitting they are overcome with the urge to indulge but not wanting to be judged for it. The longer they are insulated from criticism, the more unjust any judgment of their indulgence feels. They begin to resent standards and those who enforce them and organize to abolish them permanently. Taboos are not arbitrary. C.S. Lewis said, man is the archaeologist, not architect of morality. The telos, or purpose of sex, is reproduction, and to deepen intimacy to create a bond capable of raising a family. Indulging in desires that cuckold or castrate you pervert that castrate you pervert the wholesome purpose of the act. The shame implicit in appeals to harm reduction shows that the addict possesses a gut feeling that what they're doing is bad for them. Our disgust sensitivity, which undergirds this shame, is useful in preventing us from engaging in behaviors that could lead to disease and discontinuation of our genetic line. It is unlikely that the crusades to rid civilization of sexual repression have made us healthier. It is better to accept inherited constraints than to resent them. He's saying that we should just accept the constraints from Christian morality and all that shit instead of trying to restrain them, because that's human nature and we're supposed to be restrained and, all this
bullshit. The purpose of sex is to express intimacy for bonding and a physical expression of love while creating a byproduct for the allowance of reproduction.
Yeah.
There you go. But there is nothing wrong with having sex to express love and not have kids out of it.
Exactly.
Whether or not you choose to reproduce is your choice, period.
Oh, yeah.
And no amount of guilt changes that, and no amount of shaming makes it such. And by the way, all this Christian morality crap, an actual Christian who properly understands the Bible doesn't go around policing what couples do with one another.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the things they're hitting hard on. Because I've talked to these people many times. I've argued with them many times. And he is saying, furthermore, what consenting adults do behind closed doors does affect you. How? Okay, he's going to explain this. And you see if you can try to make sense of it. Oh, just excuse me for a second. That's not supposed to pop up. Okay. It affects how you interact with others. If your desires are stigmatized, some appropriately so, you may feel shame, which decreases your confidence and self-assurance. You may either avoid admitting your shameful tastes in conversation or lie about them, making you a less integrated and more withdrawn person. This invariably leads to the creation of a generation of men without chests, emasculated, digitally castrated, and incapable of defending their community when crises arise. Okay, so they don't think a bunch of degenerates are going to be able to fucking defend? I know a lot of anime degenerates that are armed to the goddamn teeth and know how to fire and shoot a fucking gun. Very well, by the way. I
gotta say this, too, on that. The whole shame for stigmatized shit, that is only a good outcome when you are talking specifically about depravity.
Right.
And only when depravity is clearly outlined and people have a set of boundaries, it is enforced and the set boundaries are not being fucked with and the goalposts are not moving.
Yeah.
When you have constantly moving goalposts, wishy-washy cowards who won't just stand, no, this is my set of fucking beliefs, this is how this goes, I'm not changing it, I'm not going to constantly mess with what I think. There is a difference between having an adaptive mind and an open one. Meaning that if you have an adaptive mind, as I'm calling it,
right,
you understand, like, hey, when new things come to light, when you gain an experience that grants understanding, then you can change accordingly. But when you're completely open, you might as well be defenseless. And any stupid bullshit that gets espoused can creep in because you have no set of standards that you stand upon.
Yes.
That's why we have this constant problem of the overreaching insane far left that won't ever stop. That's why you constantly get your shit fucked with in entertainment, in what is allowed. It's what makes cancel culture thrive. Because no one will say, hey, stop messing with shit, stop changing language, stop moving the goalposts, stop saying things don't mean what they fucking mean. No one stood for that, which is why they are constantly manipulating language to gaslight and lie to the public.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But also, keep in mind, this
God
comes from
damn it, that pisses me off. Now you got me riled up, man.
This comes from the right also. Like, this is all from the right.
It
None
does.
of this is
You're
the left.
absolutely right. Well, you know what? Now that you've brought that up, in total fairness, it was the right who started that shit.
Yes.
And the left retaliated, but then there was this overcorrection, and now the left is out of control.
Yeah.
What you need is you need a give and take, a push and a pull from both sides that nets the pendulum to the middle for the sake of balance.
Absolutely.
That way the right never gets too powerful and the left doesn't get too powerful.
Yeah, it's all about balance. It's all about... Yeah, there's supposed to be checks
like,
and balances.
Without that balance, you get the authoritarianism
of either
you see
side.
on the daily today.
Yes. That's what this is.
Just as a quick aside, before we get back to
go ahead.
The mainest of topics, they just started setting up fucking knife possession checkpoints. Where if you're in the UK, they decided to put fucking metal detectors and cops just around sidewalks, parks, public areas, you name it.
Jesus.
So now, now you're really dealing with like direct fascism constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, God forbid you had a knee replacement.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you set off that fucking metal detector, who knows what the cop's gonna do to you?
Yeah, like a metal plate in your head or something, which people fucking have, or a damn metal. I don't know if they still do this, but like a metal tooth filing, like where they fill in your tooth. Sometimes that shit does it. But all right. The contradiction between.
But back to the main topic.
The contradiction between...
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're okay. The contradiction between the compulsion to indulge in ignoble desires and the shame it induces drives the leftist dialectic of normalization. First, the nihilistic abolition of judgment, with phrases like, where's the harm, or what I do in private is none of your business. Then the push for equitable consideration. We are valid, or you're just a backward moralist for opposing this. Finally, affirmation...
Oh! Now the right wants to talk about privacy and the fucking revocation of said privacy. Go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Sorry, continue.
Exactly. Finally, affirmation and normalization. This is why men in leather dog costumes at pride parades are celebrated as an education and inclusivity for impressionable children. Fucking looking at anime or... By the way, this isn't just hentai or lolly content, guys. This is all anime. Where do you think... Look, this is a ladder. They start from the low-hanging fruit. That's lolicon. There's a lot of people that aren't crazy about lolicon. I'm not crazy about it, but I'm not going to call you a fucking pedophile for liking it. I'm sorry, I'm not. Because I know people like it, and I know
there's a balance between not being into something and maybe even saying, that shit's weird, maybe we should keep that in check, without going hard on the paint to, let's be fascists now because I'm going to be a moral justice warrior and cry about this one fuck-off part of a medium and completely ignore the rest context and the rest of all of it and start conflating shit.
Absolutely. That's what they're doing. Again, this starts at the bottom of the mountain. The first part of the mountain is lolicon. What happens when they get rid of lolicon? Well, then they're going to go after hentai. And you want to know why they're going to go after hentai? Because hentai features characters that may be chronically, or according to the content, 16, 17, something like that. And then, of course, what do you think they're going to do next? Anime, manga, all that will be censored or completely changed. You're going to go back to 4Kids levels of bullshit where the characters are all in their 20s or 30s and everything has been censored and edited and, a fucking cigarette becomes a lollipop and all this crap. It's going to go back to that. It's going to go all the way back to that. 4Kids was a product of right-wing censorship on Japanese content. What do you think is going to happen now? They're going to do the same shit. And they're going to start censoring the manga because they know that children like manga. They know that manga is selling better than the fucking comic books. And again, the leftists destroyed the comics. So now that the leftists destroyed the comics, they're like, oh, well, they're going to the manga, and the manga is perverted and depraved, and we've got to get rid of that. And I'll agree, there are some perverted things in there that maybe young kids shouldn't be seeing, and but that's the medium. They're used to it now, and of course they want to censor that now. They're like, oh, we've got to censor all this because this is sold in Walmart, and we got to make sure that the kids can't get a hold of something that might pervert them to a certain fetish or something like that, because that's the worst thing they want. They hate kinks. The right hates all kinds of kinks, and it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. The addictive substances and degenerate desires create a perverse incentive to pollute civilization. Misery loves company. Even attempting to moderate one's perverse desire by using just a drawing. Remember, look, I just said that. What do you think just a drawing applies to? Are they just talking about kids now? No, they're talking about your 16, 17-year-old canon character drawn like an adult with adult proportions. Acted by an adult. That's not a kid acting as that character. That is a grown-ass Japanese woman acting as that character. It is a completely different culture. And now they're trying to say, oh, just a drawing, though. That's the issue. That's the issue we're having right here. That's the issue. It eliminates the prohibition against the desire itself, but acknowledges that it is evil in practice, or at least carries legal consequences that they wish to avoid. How? Explain to me that. Hello? Did everybody jump?
No. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not all on the lolly train or 100%. I don't want to say 100%, more than 50%, because I generally find it kind of weird. But
yeah,
you can do that. But people are always gonna find shit and get around it, and I don't like it. But it's not actually harming children. That's one thing you say. Oh, that's a moral. Blah 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 blah. I don't give a fuck. It's not harming anyone. It's just a drawing. Okay, you want to move past that? Then what else you want to go? It looks like a child. Okay. Then what? You just change it from a child. If you get rid of that, okay, let's get rid of the lol then. Oh, then it's hentai. What? It's porn. We don't want porn anymore.
Yep.
So get rid of that. It's like, oh, the anime is too violent. Wait. So you want to get rid of anime, but
yep.
Every time when I was a child and when this shit was happening, I remember there being a bunch of violent stuff on TV, but no one cared about it.
You know what they
they're just
want.
going to be picking through stuff that they like. It's just going to be what they like.
Yeah, you know what they
all
want.
this stuff with them.
They want to get rid of the Japanese culture in America completely. They want to get rid of that shit because they want... You know what they want? I'll tell you what they want, and it's not going to happen. They think if they get rid of the Japanese culture stuff in America, all the manga, all the anime, then the Western culture would go back to what it was back in the day, which was censored and all that kind of stuff. They'll go back to where stuff wasn't pushed so hard. Which, again, I agree, there is some crazy stuff that's going on with some of these cartoons now. But they think that cartoons are just going to come back to normal. Like, that comics are going to come back to normal. They think that if they get rid of all the Japanese stuff, that the West will thrive again. And again, this is all just to make the West thrive. This is a secret hatred for Japan that these people have. It's not necessarily just... they know that anime and manga is Japan's biggest export. Video games, manga, and anime is Japan's biggest export. So...
Well, I mean, all this fucking censorship and editing and butchering of Japanese content, it almost comes across to me as a form of racial profiling for two reasons.
Yeah.
A, you find plenty of content in the West that's just as, quote, degenerate, for one, as made here, for one, and for two, right, what did you hear during the Satanic Panic all the time? Oh, the Japanese brain rotter cartoons! Oh my God!
Summoning. My favorite one is Pokemon summoning demons.
Oh yeah, that was a big deal.
Too.
John Hagee was all over that
or
shit.
that Yu-Gi-Oh is witchcraft.
It started out a cult, but yeah. Yeah, remember the original Yu-Gi-Oh manga was real fucking dark and they had to change it? Like, you did know that, right? The original Yu-Gi-Oh manga was really fucking dark and crazy and they had to change it over? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't really about playing with cards. It was more like... It was a torture game. He was just torturing people.
Really? I didn't know that. But it says, the addictive substances... Okay, alright. Even attempting to moderate one's perverse desire by using just a drawing eliminates the prohibition against the desire itself, but acknowledges that it is an evil practice or at least carries legal consequences they wish to avoid. Permitting exposure to evil, even in incremental doses, still corrupts you. To poach a phrase, microdosing and degeneracy isn't scratching an itch, but rather picking at a scab. Addicts don't want to stop what is bad for them, so they wage a war of position to abolish the stigma and command normal people to suppress the intentions that tell them what they're doing is wrong. Social feedback is the enforcement mechanism of standards of decency, disgust, and propriety which induce shame. Abolishing these standards would disintegrate our social fabric. The end goal of this is a static, orgastic utopia of renewable-powered vicarious experiences. Fully automated luxury coomerism. I don't see the problem. This is achievable only if liberated from pesky responsibilities in relationships, as these detract from time spent plugged into VR porn or the metaverse. The consequences were so savage. A person wandering alone in a society of material abundance, but devoid of metaphysical significance. Getting there requires us to be apathetic towards adults who consent to things that irrevocably harm them. One example from Louise Perry's The Case Against Sexual Revolution is porn actress Casey Jordan, whose appearance landed her roles in teen scenes before she live-streamed her suicide attempt on YouTube. The content that she consented to produce, which drove her to near suicide, can never be expunged from the internet. Therefore, consent cannot be rescinded for Jordan or any of the other former porn actresses with similar testimonies of regret. Okay, what does that have to do with the price of eggs in China?
No, okay, that's bullshit. Because if he's going with that, I'm thinking that means that a woman can just say, "Well, I consented in the past, so now that I had sex with this guy and I didn't like it or it was weird,
right,
I reconsent my consent."
Right, that's a real thing. Another case is Armin Muse, the consensual cannibal, where both he and his victim suffered a history of childhood abuse. It is possible that malformed worldviews made these people incapable of acting in their rational self-interest? Is consent-based morality comfortable with with permitting one man to eat another because both consented? Should we permit mentally ill adults to chemically castrate and surgically mutilate themselves in pursuit of trans identity, despite testimonies of detransitioners urging us not to? Should we allow droves of drug-dependent vagrants to destroy themselves on pavements in progressive cities like Portland and San Francisco because they aren't hurting anyone? The government's approach is one of harm reduction.
That's not been true. everything that was happening there does harm someone. There is physical harm done to someone
Right.
or other people. You're taking drugs. Homeless people are aggressive, especially if they're on drugs. Eating someone, even if they say it's okay, that does harm someone. So even as a libertarian, I can't say that's harming someone.
Yeah.
And they don't seem logically sound of mind. So yeah, but in the situation with like hello, even though I don't enjoy it or I don't like it, it's honestly not harming anyone in the most purest form.
The government's approach is one of harm reduction, providing clean needles to reduce the risk of contracting diseases and decriminalizing rough sleeping. Are we not acting like the priest
Oh, this shit needs to fucking stop. Because the purpose of government has nothing to do with harm reduction. It is about keeping you in line.
It's easy to do that with harm reduction.
Are we not acting like the priest and the Levite and the parable?
That is idealism in the most naive sense of the word, to think the government gives a fuck about harm reduction. They give a fuck about their image.
Oh, yeah.
That is the furthest extent that they give half a fuck about harm reduction is, well, does this shit look bad?
It says, are we not acting like the priest and Levite in the parable of the Good Samaritan here? We are inextricably social animals, and our inability to permanently sever ties of sentiment and obligation provides us with a means of breaking addiction and moving past consent as a permission slip for self-destruction. Addiction recovery methods for smoking and alcohol have been repurposed for the substance which inspired this piece, pornography. Alcoholics Anonymous insists on cultivating gratitude and making oneself accountable to a higher power, which needs to be God. Gratitude de-egocentrism are lived experience, reframing the abandonment of vice not as a struggle that requires willpower, but as a freedom to be thankful for. Accountability to others gives us a focus to displace chasing happiness and endless consumption. The answer to moving on from mere consent may lie in this. An incentive to delay expedient gratification could be reminding yourself of the spouse you are wasting time not earning. Oh, I gotta earn a spouse. Oh, we gotta look, guys, we're doing it wrong. We gotta earn women. That's what it is. We gotta earn women, and we gotta be slaves to women, right? Because that's the fucking conservative.
Get back
moral
on that
Christian
goddamn plantation, Graham.
fucking shit.
Better fucking get back on
That's it. That's it. That's it right there. If you do earn them, do you want to build a Pandora's box of personal truths you want to conceal from your intimate partner? If not, it's best to abandon the habits you wish to keep secret, starting now. But you know what? You never fucking... You know what that is? That's hiding yourself. That's like, oh yeah, I don't do it
Here's the worst part about that earner shit, right? So here's the thing. Just to play devil's advocate, sort of, for a hot sec here. Okay. If men's authority was not constantly being emasculated and destroyed and ripped away from them in favor of female empowerment.
Yep.
Right? If that wasn't happening, if women were properly policed instead of both being preyed upon mentally with what they're taught and smutted out accordingly because of that, if all of that wasn't happening, if they were not being encouraged and incentivized to be narcissistic at every level with completely unchecked hypergamy,
right?
If none of that was happening, then okay, I could see you trying to say the whole, hey, you take care of your wife, right? Because here's the thing, right? If you are in a position of authority,
yeah,
and responsibility,
yeah,
then okay, all right, I can understand telling me to be a proper provider, right? Because at that point, I'm responsible for the care of other people.
Yeah.
And I should not be neglecting them.
Right.
that would be okay. But no, you're just supposed to have that burden, but they can talk crazy, they can hit you, they can cheat on you, they can destroy you financially without any repercussions whatsoever, and you just have to take all of it.
Yeah.
So all of that is forced on your plate as a man, but you better fucking provide. No. I'm not going to be a slave.
Right. Absolutely.
Now, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Let's say you have a couple that is living the traditional lifestyle, right? Right? He's king of the castle.
Yeah.
And there's none of this thottery or this fuckery.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah.
Then, okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with him prioritizing provision and protection.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that in that scenario. But the problem is that 99% of the time, that is not what we are living with. We are living with ratchet-ass whores who care about nothing but themselves.
Yeah.
And will post all sorts of shit online about how men need to fucking die in the service of women.
Yeah, I see it.
Just the most vile, vitriolic hatred they can spew towards the direction of a man.
I've seen it.
Whoever it is.
Yeah.
They'll do that all fucking day. All day. And be praised for it. But we're supposed to be enslaved to them. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Take that earner shit and shove it up your ass.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because that's not the reality of what's going on. If it were, you'd have a point. But it's not.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. They're living in the fucking past. It says, who would want you to be docile, depressed, distracted, and castrated? Whose agenda do your addictions tacitly aid? Or tacitly aid. Consent-based morality is a means by which subversives can dismantle standards which impede socialist revolution. What? This has the added benefit of conscripting addicts as a revolutionary constituency, as they are disincentivized to reassert standards which impede indulging in vice. The similarities between the aforementioned atomized endless consumption and the communist false promise of the abolition of want are no mistake. Do you want to be so enslaved to your passions that you surrender before the battle has been fought? What? The chain of morality...
I understand what you're saying.
The chain of moral causality does not end with your consent. And supporting an industry like pornography via direct subscriptions or being a statistic to be sold to prospective advertisers, you become an agent of agendas which we otherwise find abhorrent, but on which the industry relies. The abortion industry and widespread availability of contraception, which is depleting Western sperm.
So if a guy watches porn, he's an agent of others' ideologies. He is the agent of the ideology, but the guy telling you to be a slave to the social pressure he's trying to inflict on you, and telling you that everything you enjoy needs to be discarded and destroyed and otherwise butchered, right?
Yeah.
Right? Everything that gives you joy is a fucking problem. You need to be a slave. Oh, but he's not an agent of ideologues. Oh, the fucking brass on this fucker.
Yeah.
See, he's right, but he's wrong at the same time. That's the funny thing about it. If he's talking about addictions in general, yes. Any addiction to anything is dangerous and leads to people becoming agents of anyone else because they can't control themselves, because they are controlled by addiction. But that doesn't have to be porn, or it doesn't have to be something else. Well, yeah, most people that watch porn get addicted to it because they are
Well,
they don't really have lives outside of that sometimes, or they're depressed or some other shit. So yeah,
yes and no.
that you don't get
kind of
addicted.
depends, though, because, like, for example, so at the end of the day, no matter what the source might be, right? An addiction is absolutely self-destructive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what addiction is, right? It's self-destruction. Well, it depends on what kind of an addiction, though. Because, for example, let's say you have a guy who is just woefully, like, truly addicted to porn, just for the sake of argument.
Right.
Well, he is destroying himself.
Yeah.
But it's not like with something like, say, heroin, where he's gonna be stealing money from people, mugging them,
Yep.
getting into ratchetness, or like anything like that. And let's say on the flip side, what if he was addicted to heroin? Well, he's still not going to be out here campaigning for some sort of heroin dealer ideologue. He's just addicted to heroin. Like that part of the argument doesn't work at all. Like, yes, it's self-destructive, all the rest of it, but, like, what addiction have you ever seen someone be consumed by that made them start campaigning in the streets for some sort of ideology? Like, that isn't meshing with me.
It's normally the other way around. Yeah, someone finds out, it's normally someone's depressed. It could be that they got into a situation where they had addiction and they became depressed, but if they don't become depressed, then they won't fall into any entrapment ideology.
Oh, yeah.
Because depression is what really extremists want. They want people that are depressed.
Yeah.
They have no way in life. They're wrong.
Yeah, they do.
So yeah,
They
some
do.
people can have any random, like, oh, I'm addicted to food and I eat food all the time. Now I'm fat and now I'm depressed. Well, yeah, then you might get trapped in some ideology that's going to make you do some dumb shit.
Right. Okay, well, the chain of moral... Okay, it says, the abortion industry and widespread availability of contraception, which is depleting Western sperm counts, allows porn to avoid the annoyance of inevitable unwanted babies. Well, if they're unwanted, who the fuck cares? The industry shows similar callous indifference to children who manage to survive gestation, factoring in the exposure of minors to their content into their projected profits and marketing strategies. There's also the implicit inability to verify the consent of the participants, an uncomfortable oxymoron often overlooked by those desperate to relieve themselves. This was the case with Linda Lovelace's infamous film Deep Throat, revealed to be a widely screened rape scene years later. I didn't know that. Further complications arise with the creation of deepfakes, with many photoshopped into compromising scenarios without their consent or knowledge. Nobody is harmed so long as the content isn't shared, but there is a sordidness in conscripting others into your fantasies without their awareness. Call me conspiratorial, but I suspect some algorithmically manufactured consent on behalf of the depopulation-obsessed elites concerning the most popular porn categories. Incestuous, interracial, transgender, and lolly content just so happen to serve the progressive push for low birth rates and racial homogeneity. Racial homo. Whoa! They don't like the idea that people are mixing.
Oh, how dare you possibly harm my ethno-state for whitey? Oh, there it is. Fucking white nationalist simp cocks. Who saw that coming? Couldn't be me.
Not surprising.
I'm sure it's just a coincidence that they wouldn't dream of making it harder for children to access this material, but then again, they do want to imprison people for tweeting mean words. Even material which features no...
They're not the same people.
Yeah.
And if you had your way, you'd imprison people for watching porn or creating it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but it's okay when they do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's always okay when they do it. It's the will of God. Like he needs them to carry out what he wants.
Right.
God, they're so self-important.
If God wants to take down a tree, he'll do it. That tree could be standing for 15,000 years. If he wants to push that tree down, that tree's going fucking down. He doesn't need you to do it. So, even material which features no third party degrades the creator and consumer. What? Per Aristotle. Oh, we're looking at Aristotle now. Aristotle's Poetics, all art is a representation of reality. Its abstraction allows bad ideas to die so that we don't risk implementing them. Oh, wow!
Only certain art is a representation of reality.
Tragedy is cathartic. Comedy remoralizing. And historics posteric. Sexual content is a tool for catharsis and a statement of intent as to what arouses the creator and consumer. Drawing a shameful fetish lowers the moral guard against harming the real-world equivalent of the subject of your fantasy. By being attracted to the drawing of an animal or a child, you are not opposed to your attraction to it. You are only curtailing it to avoid legal consequences. This is why... Okay, alright, now listen to this. This is why Loli's comparison to violent video games is not valid. The telos of cultivating violence is not shameful in appropriate context, where sex with a child is always evil. It is the content of the art that matters and debases the consumer. However, the comparison to video games...
context matters. So, okay, so... Alright, fucking riddle me this, Batman! Okay, since context matters, alright, what if... you portray the sexual exploitation of children for the purpose of attacking it. Is it now okay or what? Because, for example, let's talk about the Punisher series for a second.
Okay.
You remember the video store scene, right?
I haven't seen it, but you can tell me about it.
Pawn shop. All right, so... it's not a video store, it's a pawn shop.
Okay.
So, Frank Castle goes to this pawn shop, and eventually the clerk, the owner, as he's ringing up Frank, asks him if he wants to check out some porn. Okay. And he starts listing off different shit he's got, and then capstones it with, or are you into something younger?
Okay.
To which Frank immediately turns around. Now, of course, the pawn shop owner now thinks he's got Frank hooked on this pedophile shit.
Right.
And then Frank goes ahead and flips the sign to closed, because he's at the door when the owner says what he says, and then he picks up a baseball bat.
Damn.
And he beats the guy to death.
Yep.
Which is glorious.
Oh yeah, great. Great. Love to see it.
I fucking love that scene. It's fantastic. But the bottom line is, context is king. Mm-hmm. But I can't tell if this guy is gaslighting the reader, or if he's so brainwashed that he can't even see his own blatant hypocrisy that's on display here at every other turn in his writing.
Now, he's saying it is the content of the art that matters and debases the consumer. However, the comparison to video games exposes lolly users' intent to become more immersed in the medium than they would if they were just passively consuming a novel or movie. Their desire to be close to a sexualized child is their fantasy. Thus, it discredits their effort to excuse their reprehensible desires with, "It's not real, it's not hurting anyone." Now, listen to how he says it. You wish it was real. You shouldn't. It's bad for you. It's bad for the real-life equivalent of the subject, and it's bad for civilization. Stop it. It should be noted that...
Okay. That's an even dumber argument. He basically just said that to consume content might as well be the same as carrying out whatever's happening in said content in real life. What a fucking idiot. I guess every time I read a comic book now, I'm apparently beating people up. What a stupid false equivalency.
That's a very good argument.
I'm almost offended as though he has insulted my intelligence.
Yeah.
To make such a stupid argument.
Every time you play a game, you want to beat somebody up. That's not exactly true.
What a fucking retard.
Okay, it's no, like what you're saying is not 100% true. Some people do use entertainment as a coping mechanism.
Is true.
So they can.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, but here's two things though.
Okay.
If you're pissed off, so you play a violent video game, that is an outlet of your expression of anger, which does not fuel your desire to go commit it.
Yeah.
By the way, in addition, when it comes to all of this, the most seeing something violent can do is show you something you haven't seen before. So, for example, right? Let's say you have an unhinged lunatic who is just itching to murder someone. And he's never seen someone use a flamethrower. So he decides to use a flamethrower on his victim. The content did not make him do that. It only showed him a new methodology. But that is not the same. That he's not being controlled by the content. It didn't convince him to do that. It just showed him something he'd never seen before. He was going to murder that person anyway, as tragic as it may be, as fucked up as it may be. He was going to do that anyway. So if it wasn't going to be with a flamethrower, it might have been with a gun, or a knife, or a bomb, or whatever.
Yeah.
But if this unhinged lunatic is malicious and murderous, he is going to murder regardless.
Yeah.
The content had no effect on him other than exposing him to an idea he had not previously become aware of. That is not your ammo to be used to censor shit. He was going to kill that dude anyway. He could have done it 50 different ways, no matter how you slice it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so tired of that false equivalency.
And it should be, after we get done with the article, I'll read through some of the responses, because there are many, and some of them are really hitting hard. It should be noted that appealing to consent for a lolicon is oxymoronic, as the childlike characters would be incapable of providing consent as if they were real, as their consumers wish them to be. False! Let me tell you why. Lolicon is not generally based on, again, children. It is based on demure, petite Asian women that are grown and are able to consent. There are men who have Asian wives that look like characters that would be featured in Lolicon. There are Asian women with large breasts. Remember that, what is that, hanging out, whatever Chan likes to hang out? Yeah, there were women actually posting themselves. I'm sorry, but petite girls with large breasts exist. Sorry, we're a thing. And they had to fucking show themselves and post. They had to.
Oh, what's up, Will?
They had to post that shit. But basically, it says people can consent to all sorts of things which are not good for them. We cannot afford to lack compassion for people attempting to rationalize their self-destructive habits and remain apathetic to their plight. Cut past their projections.
It's not your place to do that, though.
That's what they want to do.
Look, I don't like people destroying themselves any more than this guy does, but that doesn't mean it's his decision to dictate their lives.
That's what a moral authoritarian is. Remember, the leftists are social authoritarians. The right wing are moral authoritarians. So it says it right here. It says, be frank about the fact that what they're doing is bad for them. It makes them less capable of earning and caring for loved ones. Offer as much counsel to them as you do condemnation of what they are addicted to. We must abandon consent-based harm... What? Listen to this. We must abandon consent-based harm mitigating morality. We must, as Jordan Peterson urged, treat ourselves as someone worthy of helping. Let us move beyond consent and toward a normative morality of personal and social responsibility. Instead of asking, where's the harm, ask, where's the good? Listen to your gut. Consent alone is not enough. That's the end of the article.
This needs to be said, too, about this, when it comes to all this, like, self-destructive shit. So, his ideology is, I'm gonna dictate your life to protect you. First of all, fuck you. Second of all, here's the thing. When... You know how we have laws against certain things that cause, like physical maiming and the like actual physical injuries, right?
Right.
It's not actually put in place to protect people from making a bad decision, per se. Yes, that is there. To an extent, that is in part of the reasoning. But the main cause, the main true purpose, is actually to hold corporations and big businesses accountable for things like that so that they can't make their wage slaves do horrible things that are going to cause them physical harm. That's what it's for. It's so that your boss can't make you hurt yourself to make the company more money. That's what that's for. It's to hold pieces of shit who would do you physical harm for personal gain accountable for that kind of thing. That's what that's for. It's not to dictate what you do because we know better than you. That's not what that's for.
Yeah. Now, here's some of the replies. It's truly fascinating to see how thick of a wedge is being driven into the community by beating this drum. I recommend beating another. Zoom out a little bit, and you'll realize that what you're doing is not only as useless as preaching to the choir, it's more like praising one side of the choir while yelling at another for not being virtuous enough. Right-wingers across the world do not have time to spare for a purity spiral right now. And it says, well, when one side of the choir is involved in this sort of debauchery, yelling is an understated response. Another guy says, in other words, treat porn-adjacent anime as you would smoking and alcohol. Know the risk. Thank you for the casual exorcism. And then another guy says, probably need to reframe it from lolly to fictional CP. That doesn't even make sense. And then another guy says, LOLVEE's take on this is great. I don't know who that is, but LOLV apparently had a take on this, so check that out if that interests you. Now,
is it possible after we finish getting through these responses and such to possibly look at that?
Yeah, we might be able to do that. I
am somewhat curious.
Sure. Connor, you have an extensive habit of allowing your personal dislikes to turn into authoritarian prescriptions for everything. To get one thing out of the way straight up, getting rid of the question of where's the harm is literally the path down to being personally, is literally the path down the personal being political. Okay, so he's saying you're going from personal to political. You have the right to condemn someone's choices in life, but not to stop them outright. Next, your entire argument about lolly and the distinction between it and video games is stupid beyond belief. Let me state one thing very clearly. By accepting the premise that fiction is equivalent to reality, or at least influences reality to such a degree as to impact people's choices, you are giving yourself license to censor everything. Because in principle, there is no difference between the argument you're making and the violence in video games argument, or the many attempts to sanitize media, comics, or books. All of them can be claimed to harm people or society in some way, and with the causal link established, you have no argument left to stop the censorship. Or are you really going to tell me that were we to accept the premise that fictional sexualization of children is bad enough to be purged from everything, that it would not come to written descriptions of it either, or hell, would not simply make any discussion of the topic, condemnation included, be in constant danger of elimination? In the conflict of principles here, I will literally choose not to censor every single time, because allowing a precedent is tying the noose for your own neck, and for every artist that exists and will in the future. You may be a smart guy, but in any matter that comes to porn or art, I can no longer trust anything you say. You have no knowledge about anime in general, the stories it tells, the quality of them compared to Western media, or the virtues they prescribe. Instead, you are happy to malign everything that even looks similar to the newest thing that offends your sensibilities, and advocate for tyranny, in some senses worse than what we have today. You are poisoning the Lotus Eaters with the same moralistic spike that earned the conservative movement a decade in some of derision, and for a good reason. And I know you're smart enough to see the consequences, so I can only conclude that on the friend-enemy distinction, you would clearly be in the camp of the enemy, were it ever to come to pass. Even Logan says, while I agree broadly with the morals of your piece, please stop being an obnoxious, hyper-moralist Puritan. You don't come across as much better than the wokus. He says, Lolicon, a manga subgenre depicting sexual... he basically talks about that. He says, I'm going to need to see the source for that, because the word loli comes from Japanese and means young girl, not Russian. There's also a style of clothing called Gothic Lolita, which is where I would have assumed Lolita came from. This sounds like Lolita and loli must be the same because they sound similar, so I'd like some proof, not a vague assertion. You've got a point with the porn industry being potentially extremely damaging, though I am skeptical that you aren't framing the worst cases as the norm. Plus, the more regulation But while my argument seems obvious to many, modern consent-based harm mitigation morality is numb some to moral intuition. Worse still, this disarmament of their ability to insert and enforce disgust sensitivity. I find cucumbers to be disgusting. Should we ban them then? Should I advocate for them to be banned? That would be stupid. More seriously, the same goes for homosexual intercourse between two men. I'm disgusted by it, so should I advocate and support for a ban on homosexuality between men? I am not disgusted by similar acts between two women, quite the opposite, so should they be legal? Obviously, the public display of explicit sexual acts of any kind is damaging to the fabric of society and should not be allowed, especially extreme fetishes like pedophilia, lolicon, and scat. Well, that's him. Appeals to minimalizing harm are all admissions of intent to circumvent a prohibition on vice. Tattoos are not arbitrary. Per C.S. Lewis, man is the archaeologist, not architect of morality. This entire section is just aggressive Christian moralism. It's just not convincing to someone who doesn't agree with you totally. Reading this section in particular, and this article as a whole, makes me think you believe that we should all live in some kind of authoritarian Christian theocracy, which makes me think you should take a step back and reconsider your opinions. I don't believe you would make a better world, and that you lack the wisdom, like many young and radical socialists, to fully understand the enormity of what you are truly suggesting. Can somebody look up and see how young this guy is? I'm curious. His name is Connor Tomlinson. So if anybody wants to look at, because they're saying he's a young radical, so I want to see how young this guy is. Is this literally some young cuck that I would be arguing with in a forum somewhere? Because that I need to know.
He looks like I've seen pictures of him. He looks like he's in his let's say 25 to like 26, shit, probably younger or older, depending. But yeah,
he's fairly young. Then. He's a fairly young guy. I'd like to know his backstory. I'd always like to know somebody's backstory. How did you become the way you are, sir? That's always interesting.
Just right. Notice he is Connor.
Yeah, I'd like to know his backstory, where I can say to him, "Hey, sir, how did you become the way you are? What kind of shit did you go through?" It's like, oh, now it makes sense. Because usually, you can tell by somebody's backstory why certain things are the way they are. But okay. He says it is unlikely that the crusades to rid of sexual repression have made us healthier. It is better to accept inherited constraints than to resent them. Complete sexual repression isn't good, either for a human psychology. I talked about that with Ken. The problem with previous of these crusades against sexual repression have been socialist in origin, and thus any level of restriction such as against pedophilia and public intercourse is considered repressive. Humans naturally have sexual desire. Thus there is a golden mean between total sexual freedom and complete sexual repression, where the least amount of harm is caused by both sexual repression and sexual freedom. I continue by responding point to point, but honestly my remaining criticisms can be summed up as this. The world is imperfect. People are imperfect, and you have to choose between bad, worse, and worst, or decent, good, and best. Stop trying to perfect society and the world. You aren't God. Your opinions are not always correct, and thus you will always create a world worse than if you created a free world. Yeah, it says it right there. It also says, okay, and somebody got the definition. Lolly, young girl, young-looking girl, age neutral, safe for work by default. It's also used to describe a body type. Age is ignored. It's an abbreviation of Japanese colloquial word Lolita, which has exactly the same meaning defined above. And the guy said I would like a more substantial definition than Urban Dictionary, but thanks. And he says there's a good article. He says
anyone can change.
He said
I don't think Urban Dictionary is like the end-all be-all definition.
Oh yeah,
especially
absolutely.
for other languages. All right.
This is a
like
this.
I wouldn't say it's the end-all be-all, but it's a lot more reliable than what we find on Webster these days, unfortunately.
Absolutely, unfortunately. And somebody does say this is
That motherfucker want a definition of what lowly means so bad. This is a thing called fucking Google.
Yeah.
Use the fucking shit.
Yeah, that would be good. Henry Wonka says this is a pretty good article about the origins and later usage. In short, it comes off of both the book and later writings about the book. In particular, the term Lolita complex. This came to be used to describe fans of such works, often shortened to lolicon, from which the term loli would then be used to define the character that lolicons would like. Where Connor is wrong is saying that is a subgenre and that is necessarily sexualized. Nowadays, it is more apt to say that loli is an aesthetic description of certain characters, which may appear as just one of many in a given work. Sexualization isn't always a must. Although there is certainly a ton of crossover, and it is always a gray area between what most people would consider cute and some would consider sexy. And the guy said, why are you talking... And another guy says, why are you talking about cartoon porn and regular porn? The lolicon stuff is a non-issue. You cannot advocate a ban on drawings. That's insane. And it's tiresome to hear your moralism. The people who like that shit will keep on liking it. We that don't care are so fucking tired of your moralism, Connor. On the regular porn thing, the logical conclusion of those poor drugged-up women can't consent argument is to treat women like children. Adults are responsible for their own choices. End of story. You're ruining the whole site. Every time I want to watch a video, I have to look if you're in it. Because then I know it'll be a waste of my time. Go on Fox News if you want to do the Christian moralism stick. The only thing keeping me canceling my membership is Bo.
Wait, what is the rant in some like porn site?
No. This is from the Lotus Eaters. Completely agree. I'm getting to the point of contemplating whether I'll renew my membership next month. With pro-censorship takes from Connor, Harry, and Carl, it's hard to justify. Carl especially should know better than to fall in the violent video games cause shooting Sarkeesian arguments. Wow. Who would have thought that the right would take up for the left?
No, I didn't really give a fuck.
It's
stupid.
so
like,
crazy.
I'll be honest. Like, the no shit kind of like creeps me out a little bit, especially where you can tell it's actually a child, and they're trying to do some sexual stuff with it. So it's like, I don't like that. But if it's just a woman who has young, youthful features, then okay. And then you can tell when it's a woman compared to a child.
Well, somebody's talking about the Spy X Family thing, and they're like, Anya's a loli character, so I guess by those standards, even something as wholesome as Spy X Family should be banned. The key factor here is whether or not she is sexualized in the show, which she is not. By your logic, having any children in any animated medium should also be banned. Bye-bye Rugrats, I guess. A feminist complained that she was sexualized in the show because her cheeks blush from time to time. This is all in the eye of the beholder, which is what the problem is. You cannot claim to be...
I remember a scene from Digimon.
Oh, it's... I guess he wants it on his eyes.
No, listen to this. Dude actually responded. You cannot claim to be for free speech while moral fagging about porn. Free speech is absolute. Connor gets back to him. Porn is not speech. That's what he said.
I'm so tired of that false equivalency. People are saying the colloquialism of free speech, it is freedom of expression. Any art, any speech, any sort of expression is exactly that. Expression. That is
as long as it doesn't break any rules.
It doesn't matter if it's a drawing. It doesn't matter if it's a movie. It doesn't matter if it's a radio show, a podcast, whatever the hell. A fucking sculpture, a drawing, whatever. Expression is expression. I am so fucking goddamn tired of these fucking troglodytes being willfully ignorant and purposefully ignoring that that's what it is. It is expression. It is not confined to speech, you fucking faggots.
Yeah, and he's saying exploiting women with broken homes isn't speech, it's a moral crime. Not saying not to watch it, but just because you like it, that doesn't mean it's free speech. Leftists argue many of
they made their choices to sign up for that.
Yep. You can
believe that bitch be broken. She was broken herself.
You can believe in free speech without endorsing all forms of speech or viewpoints. Equating free speech with some endorsement of every form of speech is frankly retarded, as are you for promoting that. Let's see here. Oh no, this guy say combing bad for society, blah 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 blah. No, fuck that. There is some stuff about Japan that I definitely wanted to... Okay, Connor, I want to pose you a question. If pornography is so degenerating to virtue, then why are the Japanese so much more virtuous than we? For a country that produces and consumes so much porn, why are their sex crime statistics so low? Ours are orders of magnitude higher than theirs. Why is it that I only ever hear of Japanese cleaning up after themselves like the end of the World Cup? I can't imagine in my wildest fantasies Americans or any Westerners doing the same, even at the height of their virtue. Why isn't there a massive and sudden rise in the number of transgendered people in Japan? They're the producers of anime and hentai, are they not? Is there something wrong with our Western Christianized societies?
Could it be the demonization
that the depiction
and
of sex
repression could be contributing?
Can lead to so much destruction? This is a very good question, and I don't think they can answer it. Partly because there's more context beyond the current topic. For example, Japanese kids grow up on a steady diet of personal responsibility, and schooled they're their own janitors. But also because there's no sauce for the goose that looking at degenerate imagery causes one to become degenerate. By all means, Connor, prove me wrong. He said they aren't, at least not when it comes to sexuality and pedophilia. You may, or perhaps not, want to look into what Japanese society... Okay, I don't know about this. You may want to look into what Japanese society looked like prior to the abandonment of the isolationist policies. For instance, what families used to do when a male friend or relative came to visit and stayed the night. Western influence from the late 19th century is the main reason why these customs were abandoned, but the fascination with prepubescent girls lives on, it seems. You're talking about the pre-modern Japan. Are you trying to judge what people in the past have done? He says,
if we're going to talk about in the past, then England has a large history of pedophiles.
Right.
There was literally a time when people took pictures of their naked children and sent it to family and friends.
Oh my god. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that happened here too. In the U.S.
It says you're talking of pre-modern Japan. Are you trying to judge what people in the past have done through the lens of our modern morality? Because if so, I should have to remind you that until the end of the Victorian period, the age of consent in the West was also 13. And before you point out that Japan's age of consent today is 13, it really isn't. That is a federally enforced minimum, which was formed back in the Victorian period, which is also just the codification of that time period's cultural sensibilities, which just happens to coincide with the rest of the world. Each prefecture in Japan sets its own age of consent, which is somewhere between 16 to 18. Although I think there's a small island with like 5 people that uses the federal minimum. And there's another one. And yet in the West, you were expected to marry. In Japan, you could sell your children to sexual slavery, and if you were short on paying taxes, the government would do it for you. And yes, this is important. It means there are very different social and moral norms. Despite heavy Western influence, the Japanese are not Christian. They are a religiously primitive society with very strong Chinese foundations thrown over it and continuing habit of syncretism. I don't know about that. That's quite the assumption, and I would say it shows a shallow understanding of Japanese culture. It's messed up in a lot of ways, and that's not necessarily the same way the West is. It's probably more accurate to say that the Japanese are far more conformist than we are. They're not necessarily virtuous. Go spend some time in Japan, you will see it has a dark side. I'm not saying Japan is free of problems. It's a country like any other. What I'm saying is that all the things that we care about are failing in the Western society. Japan beats us with the exception of their birth rates. Japan is still a normal functioning country where kids can grow up safely to become virtuous young adults. Can we really say the same thing about the West? Mind you, I'm American, specifically a Californian, so my view of it may be skewed. It says the growing up... Okay, the Japanese will be the first to tell you the shame of their dark side, but if you ever look it up, the same problems will exist and be sometimes dozens of times worse than Western countries. And unlike the Japanese, there will be a callous attitude of cover-ups, ass covering, and complacency rather than the serious and worried attitude of the Japanese towards it. And this guy says this. Lived in Japan for years. Speak, read, write the language at almost a native level. Japanese family, children, wife. You know what they sell in 7-Eleven in Japan? Softcore child porn. The government made them move it from shelves for the Tokyo Olympics. If you watch the news in Japan from that time, you can verify. Lolly leads to the sexual exploitation of kids by normalizing it. The preponderance of lolly manga anime that comes out of Japan surely means that they must be the child rape capital of the world, right? Oh wait, the numbers are incredibly low. Lower than anywhere else in the world. Are you sure you lived in Japan? Are you mistaking Tokyo for Hollywood? I should note that overall sexual activity is very low in Japan, also one of the lowest in the world. They have a very unhealthy work-life balance culture. Decline. Part of the reason for the low sex crimes... Okay, now this is true. We have to point this out, guys. Part of the reason for the low sex crime statistics is how they're reported. For example, the crowded trains of Tokyo, which we were going to talk about Chikon, but there's not enough time. The crowded trains of Tokyo is infamous for opportunist gropers and sexual assaults. You have to prove that someone did it with hard proof for it to be recorded. The system of hard proof and extreme detailed reporting of what occurred discourages a lot of victims from coming forward as it's nearly impossible to get any justice. Also, we've got to talk about this. I'm going to end it with this guy's long-ass fucking thing. But this is great. And what about women's romance novels? If you have not read any, you can probably find some in the bookshelves of your local grocery store or market. These often have either roses or such on the cover, if not an outright image of a muscular man in some revealing shirt, if even that. I've seen them everywhere. There's even black ones now. The contents of these books predominantly leave the main heroine nothing more than a vacuous shell for the female reader to self-insert herself. Whereas a great deal of detail and effort goes to detail the desirability of the primary romantic interest, and any flaws, if there even are any, are naturally fixed by mere presence of the reader's self-insert. So how about we make a short list of what makes those love interests desirable? First, these men are very handsome. Then they are also strong enough to be imposing, even among other men. They are highly successful and society, either by virtue of either birth or by merit of their career, and for some reason all they can think and desire is simply the empty shell of the main heroine, who is manifested by his willingness to devote every moment he has to her by abandoning all other things in the world. Such a man will then settle down with her and somehow continue to remain perfectly handsome, muscular, in possession of that high status in society, while having that endless devotion to listen earnestly what the female heroine did during her day, while crying and laughing with her hopes and dreams. These books may or may not retain depictions of sexual acts, because if a woman desires sexual attention, she can just lift her leg up on a random street corner. Thus, the actual pornographic content is the relationship, which she can only have with a man. And if a woman keeps devouring such books, eventually she might acquire a taste even to the pornographic depictions and detailed within, which in modernity are leaning in favor of the BDSM stuff. How many copies is 50 Shades of Grey sold again? Just asking for a friend. So to sum it up, the female porn creates an impossible standard for any possible real-world suitor to match up against. No one simply has the time to be all that, even if they are blessed with the very best of what the human genome has to offer. Thus, women can sate their need of relationship by reading these novels while taking these flower-scented baths, having an endless feeds of cute little animals to look at on their phones, or a horde of yapping dogs or mewing cats to take care out of their baths, those little fur babies. Therefore, if a man even dares to approach a single woman in the modern world, he will not match the expectations based upon that fictitious vision of perfection. And if we consider the recent online scandal of a female police officer who cucked her husband with every single officer in the station, and who knows how many more, she is not exactly a vision of unmatched beauty. She is about average, little below, which simply exists to prove how men care, not of quality, when their desire is simply based upon availability. Therefore, in order to undo the Coomer generation of men, you need to first ban the female porn. Boom! Let's fucking see you try that! And if a man can get laid in a steady and exclusive relationship, what need does he have for porn aside from that one time of the month? As for the viewers of Loli, I would pose the following question. Are they attracted to the actual physical visage of it, or perhaps something else it might represent? I ask this because I do recall watching the roast of Count Dankula, where he proclaimed to watch and enjoy Fuda only for the story. It sounded like an obvious joke for the audience, as men are usually very visual in their preferences. But what is a Fuda story if not one of a comical and unexpected turn of events at the behest of the heroine? I suppose that is the best I can do to describe it. I am sure there is someone in the offices of the Lotus Eaters that has far higher interest and proficiency in this particular topic. And finally, I would swing this great porn debate back at freedom of speech, because a drawing is just a drawing. Lines on paper, no matter how disgusting the image might be. If someone tries to argue that drawing of such an image is not a speech, but an action, well, what if I were to lean into your ear and begin to verbally describe acts of such horrific nature and detail that even the Marquis de Sade would blush and shun away? No doubt those would regard an image an act, would then proceed to ban my act of speech. And what exactly happens to free speech then? Is one soon even allowed to think horrible things in one's own head? And what about video games, which often make people play out horrible action? How would those not be genocide simulators then? There is no freedom of speech if people are not able to express that which offends. No doubt it was highly offensive to even suggest that widows ought to not be buried with their late husbands, as was the tradition in many parts of the Mughal Empire. Yep. He said, okay, now this idiot, has a response. He said, the erotica is largely consumed due to its availability or perhaps lack thereof of genuine articles, so they can only fantasize. They're trying to say there's not enough men like that. There's not enough men like the men in romance novels. You need to man up and be like the men in romance novels. The question of freedom of speech misses the point because your values exist in a hierarchy. There's actually things that are even more important than freedom of speech. Societies are constructed around the raising of children to the point where the children have more value than a developed adult. In that case, the protection of the children is above whatever degeneracy an adult wants to take part in.
Just because you restrict what children see does not mean you are pro-censorship or that you need to dictate how free-thinking adults think, act, and what they are allowed to participate in.
Right. The issue I hear from your opponent's side is is that this will lead to a slippery slope. First, the lolly Shota stuff is banned, then the mainstream animated, and all is speech. To me, it goes back to the novel argument of whether porn is free speech. Most folks at the time of said trial argued that it wasn't, thus it could be outlawed or regulated. However, since trial, more folks argue that porn is free speech using the slippery slope argument, but don't realize that porn did not start out as free speech. So, yeah.
It doesn't matter!
Yep.
The whole reason it's cool now is specifically because someone challenged it and then they were like, "Aw, shit. Well, the actual First Amendment doesn't say speech, it says expression, which this is. Oh, shit. Guess we can't ban it anymore."
Well, now listen
That's
to this.
how that played out.
Now listen to this. This is what they're trying to say with their slippery slope. Given no action, cute pictures of naked babies in bathtubs turned into lolly. How does that doesn't even make any goddamn sense. Which turns into CP and so on. On the other hand, banning of CP and lolly does not
that's another stupid argument. Look, I will be the first one to tell you I think it's weird to be taking pictures of your children when they are naked.
Yeah, I think that's weird.
That being said, I also understand that boomers came from a time when there was not so much sexuality on full display in the world. And so to them, they treated it like, "Oh man, I'm taking a picture of my kid taking a bath. What a great milestone." But again, I'm acknowledging the difference in culture of the time.
Yeah.
See, back then, there wasn't so much depravity. I guess a better way to phrase it is, regardless of the amount of depravity that may or may not have been in the world, it was not on display. It was not easily accessible through the spread of information with the internet.
Yeah.
And so people didn't think of it like that. They weren't. Yes, it's weird that they were taking pictures of their kids like that. I would never do that. But at the same time, their mindset was completely different from what mine is today, given the culture I was raised in versus what they were raised in. They would say that's celebrating a milestone. I would say, dude, don't be doing that. They're in a position of vulnerability. There are pedophiles out here. You're inadvertently putting them at risk by doing that.
Yeah.
So you should not.
Yeah. I mean,
But again, that is completely boiled down to the fact that I am a 2000s kid.
Yeah.
They were 60s kids. There's a big fucking difference. But I digress.
Yeah. They said, honestly, when it comes to manga and anime, I observe a weird double standard. When good and engaging story told and characters created, it's just a drawing and not taken seriously. But when it comes to lolicon, hentai, or even ecchi, everybody's behaving like these drawings are suddenly real people. Why? That makes arguments much less effective in my opinion, because it seems you just want to stick to beat me with. As somebody who lived through real oppression, communism, I am allergic to this kind of hypocrisy. It's not entirely hypocrisy when the same person who shouts at you not to eat poop from the toilet also tries to polish the poop off a golden statue. It's easier to condemn art that lacks redeeming qualities. That sounds like a fucking socialist to me. Art that doesn't have redeemable qualities. What do you think? Remember when they got rid of all the statues and shit? Oh, it doesn't have any redeemable qualities? That's bad. We've got to get rid of it. This is the same fucking socialist the same authoritarian bullshit that they did.
Exactly.
The same fucking thing. And
that is exactly what it is.
And the guy said straight up, you see, it's free speech until I see something I don't approve of. It's free speech until I see something I don't approve of. Wow.
See, and there it is. No one seems to be able to appreciate this beautiful irony that, hey, look, if you actually advocate for free speech, if you actually care about the freedom of expression, you advocate for the shit you disagree with because you're smart enough to realize that when you point the gun at something else, eventually the shoe can drop off the other foot and now you're staring down that barrel. It's not so fun. So no, I don't really morally approve of a lot of the lolicon shit I've seen.
Either. No.
Because it does come across in that very pedophilic manner.
Yeah.
That being said, however, A, it is a fucking drawing. B, there's different kinds of it. And C, no matter how much I might personally not be into what that is, it still has a right to exist.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, as long as it remains with drawings, it is a victimless crime.
Oh, absolutely.
No matter how you slice it, yeah, I'm going to say that it needs to exist. It needs to not be censored. Because regardless of whatever moral sensibility I might have that might object to it, it doesn't matter what I think in that regard.
Right.
Because, hey, if I go after that, oh shit! Now they're going after my fucking video games. Oh man! I'm good. I think I'm gonna not attack shit because I'd like to play Resident Evil in peace.
Absolutely. Yeah, because they're gonna keep on doing it. So they're not gonna stop, guys. They're just not gonna fucking stop. This is what I've been warning you about. When the left gets weak, because the left is kind of weak now. The left was strong during the Trump, which is crazy because they were all going crazy after Trump. Now that Trump is no longer a thing, they've laid off all these writers and all that, the left has lost its steam. Now the right is going to come back with a vengeance because the left was so fucking aggressive during their couple years. So now we're got all this
and none of it will be about doing the right thing.
Never.
It will be about revenge.
Authority.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah. They're gonna go after
it's never gonna be about actually doing what's in the interest of the people. It's never gonna be about doing your job as a representative to represent the will of the people.
Yeah.
It's never going to be about that. It's going to be solely about getting back at the people they don't like.
Yeah, that's it. And getting rid of the things they don't like. They're attacking loli hard. They're attacking anime hard. They're going to attack. It's going to, again, they want to drive out Japanese media because they want to replace it with a return to basics American media. Problem is, the kids don't fucking care. You've already ruined Batman and Superman for them. They don't want them anymore. So there's really not too much you can do to bring these fucking characters back after the left. And again, progressives has always been a part of that fucking industry anyway. So I don't know what you thought you were going to do, what you were going to accomplish. But getting to another topic here, this is important. We've got to talk about the Justin Roiland situation. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I happen to be a part of the former guy in the music industry. So I know a lot of fucking shit that goes down in the industry. And one of the issues that is... Now, I don't know what Roiland did as far as... Like, I don't know. I mean, I know what he did, but I don't want to say 100% that he did it. We're not saying he did it. We're not saying he didn't do it. However, there is the one thing that keeps coming up. And that is the texts he had with 16-year-old girls. That DM'd him, by the way. Now, were they kind of creepy? Yeah, maybe a little bit of the creep factor. I've read some of them. They were,
I thought they were very creepy.
But we've got to think about it like this. Roiland, I want to ask you a question. No, you guys. I want to ask you a question about Roiland here. Did Roiland actually meet with any of these girls that he texted? Do we have any information that he met with any of these 16-year-old or young girls? No. We don't have
no.
any information.
I have no idea, and here's the thing. I'm not trying to say 100% like condemn him because I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
And then that's not my goal here at all.
Right.
Admittedly, I am inclined, though very much open to refutable evidence.
Right.
But I am very inclined to think that he may have been very nefarious because the entertainment industry is full of abuse.
Oh yeah. But what I want to say,
and because he's out here, describing these girls as jailbait constantly.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't once or twice. It wasn't in an easily explainable joke. It very much came across as though, like, oh man, if I could fuck the shit out of you and get away with it, I would.
Right.
That's how it comes across. And so I find them very unsettling.
Okay. So,
but at the same time, I don't know if because he's some Hollywood elite that he's just got a completely fucked up sense of how you talk to people or what.
It's true.
What, like, I don't know if he's just a fucking idiot and a weirdo and out of touch with, like, reality because, Hollywood's weird, hence Holly weird, or if it's a expression of a desire to commit very heinous shit
right.
With a minor. I just don't know.
Now, what I will say...
Hell, that's probably doing him worse than the charges right now.
Yeah. What I will say is this. This is not uncommon behavior. It's not uncommon. Now, I will say we don't know that he got with any of these girls, but I can tell you that, and even Empress can tell you, because she's a former groupie and she was on tour buses all the time. She can tell you that a lot of these older rock stars, heavy metal guys, a lot of these guys you know and love, definitely spent time with her and knew that she was 16. Did they have sex? No, she declares they did not have sex with her. However, we have to think of it like this. The grooming accusation is not just did they have sex. The grooming accusation is, did this older man spend time with this younger woman? And that
now here's another question though too to add to the mix there when it comes to some of that stuff.
All right.
Because I don't quote me 100%, but
go ahead.
I think it's like 35 something states that in which the age of consent is 16.
Right.
So if it went down there, I really don't care.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, I get that.
Because, I mean, yeah.
But what I'm saying here is the age of consent.
Yeah, I'm from Britain, so my laws are different from yours.
The age of
consent. Well, because the thing is, right?
What is your age of consent over there?
Personally, because of a lot of different laws, I really don't like how muddy the waters are.
Yeah, they're bad.
With different ages, because here's the thing, right? Okay, why is it legal for a 16-year-old to go get fucked, right?
Right.
But they can't drink alcohol.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to talk about.
Why can we send an 18-year-old man to die at the drop of a hat because we fucking said so?
Yeah.
If we chose to do this, we could. Yeah. We could send him to die on the battlefield in war.
Yeah.
But he can't smoke.
Yeah. And
I think they need to be equalized. And I'll be honest with you. I'm 24. I don't necessarily want to fuck a 16-year-old.
Right.
I think she's too young and impressionable. But at the same time, I also live in Alabama. Well, the reason the age of consent is 16 here is because you can get a marriage license at 16 here.
I didn't know that.
And it's one of those things where it's like,
the same way, by the way.
Yeah, because the thing is, right, how can you expect people to get married and not fuck, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's stupid.
So you have weird shit like that to think about.
Now, we've got, all right. Well, think about it like this, because, I mean, yeah, I'll be honest, I did date 16, 17 when I was in my early 20s, but when I got 25, that was when I stopped. I mean, because there was one girl I dated when I was 17, her father and I were very good friends, and he wanted me to be with his daughter, because, first of all, I was respectful. Not only was I respectful of her, but I was a guy that I basically helped them out. Like, I almost felt like a son to them, so they actually wanted me to kind of be with her. And she was very nervous. She didn't know, really what, but then as soon as she found out, and it took my friend, my sis, that actually talked to her and said, hey, this girl's actually into you, but she's nervous. She doesn't know what to do. What are you going to do about this? She said, you basically need to be a man and come out and show her. And, yeah, but things happened, and it didn't work out. And she, I guess, she had a train run through. She had a lot of shit going on behind my back that I didn't know. Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. When we were originally together, he had planned to move in, because they were moving out of their house, and they wanted to get another place. And this other place, was real close to where I was at. And they basically wanted me to move in, and she and I were going to have our own room and everything like that. And, of course, this was all, the family wanted this to happen. We were cool with it. She was cool with me. Everything was good. They liked me, and they thought I was a good, positive influence on her. So they wanted that for their daughter. So basically, that's what I was doing. Oh, they were religious, by the way, but they were not the hardcore religious. Like he was, in the like they would listen.
Like they would go to church on Sundays, but they weren't super devout.
Yeah, he was all into wrestling, and I'd play my anime games and stuff, and he'd make fun of them. But we had a good time. It was good, and yeah. She was gorgeous. I'm just to be honest, she was absolutely gorgeous. I was like, how the fuck do And I met her at the library. That was the craziest thing, because I always go to the library, because I'd use the internet and I like to read, and she liked to read, and that's where I met her. And her dad was cool, and me and him talked. I came over there all the time on my bike, and I just go and spend time and hang out with them. And that was pretty much my girlfriend for a while. But the thing happened when she moved in with her grandmother, because then I saw a side of her that I never knew existed. And this side of her was introducing me to some 50-year-old man, and I'm like, how do you, a woman your age, oh, this is my friend so-and-so. First of all, I don't know this man. I don't know this man. How do you know this man? This man's got a long beard. He looks like he's homeless. Like, seriously. But this is my friend, so-and-so. What? Yeah, that's the kind
Do you mean family friend?
No, nobody knew. I don't think her grandmother knew him. That man, he was just looked like it looked like he was squatting in somebody's place. I'm like, where do you... It's like, how do you know him? He's like, oh, he's a friend of mine. And then she told me that her other boyfriend was in his 30s. Like, what? And he beat the shit out of her, apparently. So, I guess...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. This isn't the first time. There was another girl I dated, and she was in her 16, something like that. And her boyfriend was also in his 30s. Now, she's married. Well, she got married, had a kid, divorced, has another kid, and was trying to hit up my friend. So, yeah. But, again, a lot of these younger girls were dating much older guys. By the way, my good friend from high school, her mother was cool with her dating a 30-year-old dude, and she was 16. We didn't know. We thought we thought it was weird. We thought
that kind of weird for England.
We thought it was
in England, the age consent is 16 all around.
Okay,
but that's still weird. For if you're not in your early 20s and you're dating someone that's in their teens, it's like, okay, what are you kind of trying to do? Like, if you're 30 and you're dating a 16-year-old, it's like, dude, she's almost your child.
Yeah. They're not even, I mean, they were together for a while, believe it or not. They're not together now, but they were together for a long time. And of course, her friends, I dated pretty much all her friends. It was crazy because I was in high school, by the way. I was still 16 at the time. I was still a young man when I dated her friends. It was crazy because I dated her other friend, and then her other friend turned out she was into me too. I was like, damn, I didn't know y'all girls were into me. But apparently they liked the crazy goth dude from my home state. So they like that. But anyway, yeah, it wasn't uncommon. It wasn't uncommon for a lot of girls in my high school, even as DP would tell you, because he knows, having lived in this area, that there were a lot of girls just dating dudes in their late 20s, early 30s, and they would be in high school, and it was just a fucking normal thing, and nobody gave a damn shit about it. It was just how things fucking happened around here. And a lot of people don't understand it because, again, I mean, this is something that was common 20 years ago, but it's been 20 years. So it's not really a thing anymore. I'm not 16, I'm 30, almost 38. And ages have changed, times have changed. So what I was doing and what was popular, or common rather, back in those times is not anymore. I remember when I had a guy that went to high school with me, and this guy would take whiskey and pour it into his water thing, and he would just, and you could smell, he's like, take a sniff of it, and it's pure whiskey. And he would go to class drinking whiskey. He just, nobody gave it to him.
Damn.
He just drank it, I mean, strong whiskey, too. Let me tell you something. When I was a young guy, and I went over to her house for parties, they had redneck parties. Let me tell you, we had the weed, we had the alcohol. Holy shit, did we have alcohol? You're talking about a table full of anything you might want, just there. So, like, I had my first beer and my first joint and my first shot, and I damn near died because they mixed Crown and codeine together. Yeah, that's the kind of crazy shit that I went through. But yeah, it's all gone. It's over with. So I know all this shit that's gone on. And what I'm saying is, I don't know if this is still the case for bands in Hollywood and all that, but I know for damn fucking sure, when I was young and in the 90s and the 80s, in the 70s, 60s, whatever, I know for damn sure that these guys were hanging out with girls that were 16 to 18 years old. It's just a thing. Think about it. Kiss wrote Christine 16. And they were trying to say Leonard Skinner, what's your name, little girl? Like, I don't know. But there's a lot of songs about that. So I'm just saying that's what happened. And I'm not saying, if Justin Roiland, like, the way he interacted with these girls, he was a fucking piece of shit. Let's be honest. That's a really creepy, fucked up way to act to people. And, I don't know. And again, you gotta understand, this guy probably at one time in his life, he probably did have, relations like that. Think about that, guys. He probably did have relations like that. Where he was, because okay, think about this. If he's used to it, if he's just, a normal person just doesn't go and talk to the girls unless it's something common. This guy's older than I am. This guy's what? Almost, he was around in the 90s and the 80s and all that kind of stuff. We don't know what went down in those times. He had a wife and they all of a sudden just broke up, and in 2003, I believe it was. No, 2003 they got together. Then they broke up, and nobody knows what he's been doing. He hasn't been married or nothing. He's just been broken up with her for a long time, and I don't know what he's been doing. But again, this just goes to show you that this is common behavior. And you know what I'm saying? I said all this to say that if you're going to throw Roiland under the bus, why don't we throw Gene Simmons under the bus? Literally. Do you really think that
Now, hold on with Gene Simmons, though. Was he, like, doing that kind of shit with minors? Or what?
Think about it.
Not that I know of. The only thing I know with Gene Simmons is he cucked a big pharma, but that's another debate.
No. I mean, when he was young, when Kiss was a young band in their
No,
20s.
then I wouldn't know.
You can't tell me a young 20-something-year-old, maybe 30-something-year-old Kiss didn't have those kinds of groupies. I guarantee they did. And by the way, let's talk about the Sunset Strip. The Sunset Strip, I watched in a documentary. They have come out and said it. The girls that these rock bands, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, all these kinds of bands like that, the girls were underage, and they would put on makeup to make themselves look younger, so that the bands would come in there and they think they're adults, and they would use fake IDs, and they would have sex with these damn rock stars. The girls that Motley Crue was banging, the girls that Guns N' Roses was banging, they were all fucking 16 to 18-year-old girls. They were all young girls making themselves look younger, or older rather, with makeup. They would always do that to make themselves look older. So, considering all this information that I have...
Yeah, but that's not on the guys, though. That's just chicks wanting to get ran through.
Yeah, that's chicks wanting to get ran through. But the thing is, if we're going to hold Roiland accountable for that, then we should fucking hold
but here's the difference, though, right? So, if you're a rock star, because if I was in the position of rock star, right?
Okay.
Like, there's a good chance that I wouldn't even think to ask their age, like, half the time.
Right.
So I would just be assuming that they're of age, and I'm of age. They're down to fuck. You know I'm down to fuck.
But a lot of times...
So it is what it is.
A lot of times the bands knew.
I mean, I honestly think that's what it is most of the time, but, like, the difference between that and Roiland
is he knows
is
they're jailbait.
Roiland is, like, well of age and knows for a fact these chicks are underage.
We've got to wonder how many bands, though. How many bands actually knew and didn't say anything? Because remember... I gotta cut that. I'll cut that. But remember that Empress said that she was a groupie. And basically she was 16, younger girl. And the guys knew, the bands knew she was underage. And they still would have her hang out. Now, did they fuck her? She claims they didn't. But they did have her drink and do drugs with them. Which probably isn't a great thing either. But that's what they did. Yeah. She said that her 16s are kind of a blur. A lot of that time is a blur because she was on so much shit. So maybe stuff happened and she doesn't know. I mean, it's very possible. We don't know. But we do know these were big bands. I mean, she did mention the Deftones guy, Chino Marino. And basically, she didn't have sex with him or whatever. She just, she basically just said to him, well, no, he said that, I mean, this was in the interview that we had, that I did. But anyway, Empress says to him, she says, no, I'm sorry, let me redo this. Chino says, it's like, look, are we fucking or not? And then she just kind of leaves, and she says she felt bad for him because he was in a bad relationship and just broke up with a girl before she met him or something. And she said he was just really in a bad mood, and she didn't want to mess with him, so she left. But there's a...
It was probably for the best.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
I don't really blame him, though, because, like, okay... If your intentions are a bust down,
yeah,
it is irritating to, like, deal with a chick that seems wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Mainly because, like, if you expect a particular outcome and it's kind of up in the air,
right,
like, that's annoying.
Right.
And that kind of applies to, like, a lot of things, right? Because, like, maybe you're looking forward to, like, an upcoming video game, and you want, like, a question answered, but the devs are being silent on, like, a particular thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's annoying. Like, are you Like it could be in the middle of, like, one of the really shitty E3s of, like, okay, are you going to show us some fucking gameplay or what? Like,
Right.
you know?
Right. I get that. I get that. But again, I'm just saying. All right, sure, he knew they were, and he said it, but we just have to... We don't know. There's been a couple books that have come out. Like, I know Motley Crue released The Dirt, and I haven't read it. But I don't know if they would actually talk about their dealings. I mean, I don't know. I haven't read it. I know they made a movie of it, and I haven't seen it, but I'm pretty sure they... I mean, I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe this was a more common thing.
I thought The Dirt was just a movie. Did they also release a book?
It's a book.
Okay.
But there's others. There's others where they talk about the girls and things like that. I'm pretty sure all these damn girls were not, you know, I mean, even though they may look it, there's a lot of girls in videos that weren't fucking 18, 21. They did that shit. I'm serious. It's yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't know.
Well, the other thing though is, like, here's another difference too between, like, them and Roiland would be, like, okay, you read those texts, he's like weirdly getting sexual with the fact that they're underage specifically. Because he would keep on obsessing in the messages about them being jailbait.
To me,
right?
I didn't
and
read
like the whole point of that is, like, oh my god, you're such jailbait. Oh man, I really want to fuck the shit out of you.
Oh,
why are you so hot?
Oh shit!
And you're underage,
dude. He had a deliberate fetish for that. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. So that does change things a little bit for me.
That's what I'm saying is, like, that's why I'm so unsettled by the messages. It's like, dude, I think you might be a fucking pedo.
Yeah,
like,
it might.
And, like, I'm just saying. Look.
No, this man knew what he wanted, and it's...
I'm just saying, it's really fucking common to have, like, intentional pedo shit going on in the entertainment industry, because it happens so often.
It does happen.
So it's like,
I mean, Dan Harmon...
I don't want to call anyone a pedo who isn't.
Right.
And let the guy have his day in court 100,000%.
Yeah. And he's not on that. He's
but
not
it's
being
like,
charged
dude,
for that.
These receipts are real fucking damning.
Yeah.
When you look at the context of, like, what he's saying and how he's saying it.
Right. Right. Now, I will say that...
Here's the other thing, right? Because this particular shit gets lost in the weeds. So, a lot of people make the argument of you can't tell inflections from writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no, it depends on how it's punctuated.
Right.
Now, there are sometimes instances where, like, it can be punctuated the same way, but you could have a different inflection based on what kind of emphasis is there, and it's a lot harder to suss that out depending on how much else is there, because you have to see what he wrote maybe before that sentence or after to see where the emphasis might be put, right?
Yeah.
Because it could be punctuated the same way and be correct, but it's still hard to say, well, is he talking about this thing or is he focusing on another? Right?
Right.
But at the same time, if it's punctuated if it's punctuated enough, you can tell where the emphasis is, where the inflections would be. You can actually read how that's being said. Now, I tend to punctuate my texts the same way I would speak the words, because that's just how I write most of the time.
Sure.
So, like, because of that, it's like, well, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But when you read these texts that Roiland sent,
mm-hmm.
you can see what he's saying and how he's saying it. And it's like, look, man, I'm not trying to call you a pedo, but you look like a damn pedo.
Right.
Like, you need to understand this shit. And given these receipts, given from what I've been told, don't quote me 100%, but there appears to be receipts on the domestic violence as well.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, you're beating your wife, and you're telling underage girls, when you know they're underage, that you want to fuck them, because you're getting so off to the fact that they're jailbait. Look, man, that is some weird shit.
Well,
I hope to God he did not offend. Because if he did, he needs to be under the jail.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Like, I don't play this pedo shit.
Any of these, well, I mean, look, you said you got receipts on this. Look, I only read one little meme, a post of what he's posted, so I haven't read everything, but from what you said here, I mean, it does seem pretty damnable evidence. I mean, you've actually changed it to the fact that I know you're 16 to, oh wow, you're 16. So that's a little different. If you're saying, oh wow, you're 16. No, that's what I mean. He's saying, oh wow, you're 16. That is an issue. It's like, oh wow, you're jailbait. You're 16. I mean, what about, 14? Like, how fucking low does he go? That's the thing. We gotta really think about that. That's the thing,
and we don't know what we don't know, and it's like, look, I am the last guy, the last fucking guy that wants to be putting another man on the chopping block for sexual abuse shit if he didn't do it.
Right.
Because, again, look, man, I mean, even Shaft was talking about, like, them accusing Drexel of being a groomer. It's like, look, if something like that sticks, you are fucked.
Right.
Because it is almost outright impossible to dodge that shit and make it go away after you get caught up with something like that.
Right.
Now, look, we've been talking to Drexel for years.
Yeah.
We know he would never do anything like that. Right. Ever.
Yeah, he even listened to that and was like, what?
Ever.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, Shaft does have a point. Like, hey, man, these people are serious.
Yeah, they are.
If you... I mean, depending on how far this goes, you really do need to treat this seriously.
Yeah.
Get in front of it if it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I say wait a little bit, see if the heat dies down. If the heat dies down, do not address it, leave it alone.
Right.
But if it does not, you need to get in front of this shit and explain yourself, because I know he would never do a thing like that, ever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what I think when there's the mob. Because the mob is the mob. Right?
Right. Oh, yeah, I know.
And again, it's like when it comes to something like what we're seeing with Roiland, it's like, dude, like, at best, you are joking about shit that isn't funny because of the way you're joking about it.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah.
But at worst, holy shit, this is a pedophile. If we have a pedophile on our hands, well, all right, please face the wall.
Yeah. I mean, it would prove that Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland are both that way, and there's probably just a lot of people in the cartoon and entertainment industry that are that way. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that there's just a lot of them like that. And that cartoon is pretty much dead. They're going to try to replace actors. It's not going to work. That shit's dead. They might as well get rid of it. People are going to attach it to Justin Roiland even if he's gone. So...
Exactly. Man, he don't have to say that. He don't have to say that. For the whole time, if this really did happen, all I can say is RG scream, Justin Roiland beats his wife as into young children. Damn, man.
Rick and Morty.
I wouldn't tell. I wouldn't tell. I couldn't tell. Actually, kind of like if you're just gonna say that art is whatever the Lozia guy was saying, like art is inspiration of the artist and what they think about. I wouldn't have thought he was into children. Honestly, he didn't seem like someone that was into children, but now it's like you don't know people.
Right.
And that's the worst part of it is, look, man, I don't know whether or not you're into children. You have brought it into question.
Yeah.
No matter how you slice it. Like, you are fucking up if you have brought it into question.
Yep.
Now, just because it is brought into question does not mean you're guilty. I'm not saying that at all.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying that at all. But if you are taking actions that bring it into question,
yep,
you need to modify your behavior.
Absolutely.
Because that's not cool.
I think he's
Don't be doing that.
Yeah.
Not even for what I think about it.
Right.
But because of what that can do to you.
Yeah.
Because if enough people are questioning it, holy shit.
Yeah.
Your life's about to get real hard real fucking fast.
Yep.
You're going to have a bad time.
Yep.
Time to get yeeted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is not no conversation where he was just talking to a young or a 16-year-old and people thought it was weird because he was stating certain things that would raise eyebrows to anyone else said it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again though, these charges are not, unfortunately, they don't seem to have anything to do with the text. I don't know if the text will be brought in later, but, I figured that...
Yeah, this will probably be a different trial, because it's not involving his spouse.
Yeah, because this one's involving the spouse and the imprisonment, the false imprisonment. That's pretty crazy. There's a false...
He got that too?
Yeah, the false imprisonment one. That's nuts. Yeah, this guy, see, we gotta think about it. The fact that Roiland's gone is gonna make Rick and Morty, like, everybody's gonna attach that to Rick and Morty now. They're like, oh, we're gonna replace him because we still have 60 episodes and this is a cash cow for us. It's not gonna work. You're gonna have a couple of people that might be loyal to it, but you're gonna lose half to most of your fan base. They're gonna go find some other cartoon or something to get into, or anime or something. Who knows? But it's done. It was one of the, I guess you could say, the last decent adult cartoons out there, and now it's gone. So there's not gonna be too much of Western entertainment left. Pretty soon everybody's just gonna be watching like other cultures. It's gonna be like or Japanese or Korean or something like that. It's like we're no longer the big entertainment producing capital anymore. Or the big producing, it used to be all the US, Hollywood and all. It's not that anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if Japan, and within the next 10 years, I wouldn't be surprised if Japanese entertainment overtakes Western entertainment by at least in 10 years. And that leads us back to what we started with. The right trying to push against this stuff. Because I think they can see the future. They can see that all the kids are running to this stuff now. They know it's popular. They're not stupid. So basically, they're like, oh shit, if we don't do something about this, that media is going to take over our media. And all the values that media has that we don't like, and all the fetishized children that they claim are in this series, or animes, they're going to be okay, and we gotta stop that, because we can't allow that kind of expression. Remember, Japan has freedom of expression. They're trying to say America really doesn't, but Japan has full freedom of expression. That's one part of their constitution. And of course, the moralists here are saying we don't. No, it's like a guy's like, I believe in freedom of speech, but not freedom of expression. So you're not allowed to freely express yourself the way you want to. They say that people should be shamed if you're expressing yourself in a way that they don't like. That's personally their argument.
Wait, did they actually say verbatim freedom of speech, not expression?
Yes, I was reading some posts. I was reading some comments, yeah. A lot of people were saying freedom of speech is not... And remember, Connor himself said porn is not free speech.
No, it's not speech. Well, it depends if it's audio, but...
Well, again, that's what I was saying earlier. No, porn is not speech, but that's not the amendment. The amendment is freedom of expression.
No, he didn't say that. He said porn is not free speech.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and because he was saying porn is not speech. And I was like, it doesn't matter if it's speech. Because the amendment doesn't say speech, it says expression. The amendment says you can express yourself however the fuck you want to.
It does say that? Somebody go ahead.
That is the point of that amendment.
Find the Constitution.
We have the freedom of expression.
Somebody find the Constitution
which includes
and read that.
Speech and art.
Read that real quick. Somebody read the Constitution.
And any other kind of expression.
The Bill of Rights.
Right, so...
Let me look that up. Let me see. First Amendment. I'm gonna just check this out. Make damn fucking sure, because these people want to twist things around so much that even I start to forget. Okay. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. It doesn't say expression. It just says abridging the freedom of speech. It says you can't prohibit religion or the freedom of speech, or the press, or the right of people to peaceably assemble. It doesn't say anything about expression. Holy shit!
Is that
where's your source?
They of course they wouldn't do that. Like, because speech right then, they didn't really have anything that could video code anything, so they probably would have put that in there, so to say. But they probably have things about books and so on for that. Because you could say expression, speech can be classed as writing too.
Okay, it says that the freedom of expression is protected by the First Amendment. Okay, the ACLU, of course. I don't want to... Let's see. The freedom of expression. What part of the Constitution? The First Amendment often has struggled to determine what exactly constitutes protected speech. What article talks about freedom of expression? Well, that's in India. India has a freedom of expression. Hey, the ACLU adds freedom of expression. Freedom of speech, of the press, of association. Let's see. What does free speech mean? Not to speak, specifically the right not to salute the flag, of students to wear black armbands to school to protest a war, to use certain offensive words and phrases to convey political messages, to contribute money to political campaigns, to advertise commercial products and professional services, to engage in symbolic speech. It does not include the right to incite imminent lawless action, to make or distribute obscene materials. That was 1957. To burn draft cards as an anti-war protest. To permit students to print articles in a school newspaper over the objections of a school administration. Of students to make an obscene speech at a school-sponsored event. Of students to advocate illegal drug use at a school-sponsored event. Well, that's it. That's what it says.
Well, it said images or symbols. So a symbol can be images and so on.
Right.
It does say obscene, but what is obscene is kind of the problem we have. We're not sure what is obscene and not. We don't know what the boundary is, so to say. It's kind of blurry.
The 5 freedoms...
Because you could say swearing.
Go ahead. I was saying, go ahead.
Yeah, you could say swearing is obscene, or like porn or so on like that, but since the laws have how to say, expanded, so to say. Certain things have become less obscene with the culture. So, in the past, like, not wearing, like, wearing shorts could be obscene, but now it's not that obscene because the culture has changed and so on. So, it really does depend on what is the culture for obscenery, so to say.
So, yeah, they kind of consider it express, but it doesn't feel like... Like, Japan Constitution has a deliberate fucking freedom of expression. Let's see. Freedom of expression. Japan's Article 21 prohibits censorship and protects freedom of speech, press, and other forms of expression, as well as the secrecy of any means of communication. These rights are generally upheld in practice, though some social and legal constraints exist.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable. You don't want someone's like nudes to be out like released if they didn't allow that. Makes sense.
Freedom of assembly and association, as well as speech and press and all other forms of expression, are guaranteed. No censorship. Now, one interesting thing is Japan has to censor their hentai, but technically, according to their constitution, they don't have to do it. That is weird, Mike.
I think it's all that. I think they just censor all that porn for some reason. From the memes I see.
It's really crazy.
Well,
but I don't know.
That doesn't sound like if you have like certain things that stop certain people from abusing that in a way, because you don't want people just to be going around and like saying they're expressing shit by like recording people and not to just post out on the internet. Oh, well, I'm expressing myself.
Oh yeah,
shit.
yeah. You're right about that. Yeah, you're definitely right about that. I mean, within legal, or I don't know. I don't want to use the term moral, but within whatever people would consider terms of decency. But then that gets into morality, and it's just a big fucking confusing thing. You know, you hate to use the word morals and values because these people like to twist it and pervert it to their own sort of thing, to where it's literally Christian authoritarianism. That's the problem. That's the problem we're having here. Because look,
It comes from consent.
what?
It's all consent to allow this images to be posted online. Then okay, then you can't really compare them afterwards.
Yeah.
But if you're like and taking people's pictures, then you're passing a boundary because the person you took the pictures of did not give their consent and so forth.
Right.
That sounds reasonable. If you go from there, you can keep on going on. But there's gonna be so like, well, I find this breaking the rules of my own personal beliefs. Is like, well, let's say in the Middle East.
Right.
Like when Middle Eastern people, especially Muslims, come to other countries, they don't like anyone drawing a picture of Muhammad. And they find that obscene and offensive. And sometimes some of them get extremely violent.
Damn. Yeah. I know what you're talking about there. They get really crazy over that. Oh, there was something I neglected to add, because I talked to you about my ex and the whole situation where she had a train run on her. Well, there's more to it than that. Basically, me and her grandmother got into it because of, I wasn't really a religious guy, didn't want to go to church and all that kind of stuff. And she found the girl another boyfriend. She found him a boyfriend. She found her a boyfriend. Listen to this. Grandma found her one. Now this guy, oh yeah, he went to church, but he was a meth head. And not only that, but he beat the shit out of her. She admitted that to me when she came in later after she was pregnant with their child, which is probably the one that she had from being ran through. Or the train, which you might as well call ran through. And then after that, she said she started using the N-word a lot. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh yeah, I hate these N-words. I'm like, I never taught I never taught her to be like that. I never said anything like that. I didn't, that's not the way you're supposed to talk about people. And she said, oh, yeah, you know, well, me and my boyfriend, he hates all those. He's pretty much a white supremacist. So not only was he a meth head, but he was a fucking white supremacist. And he treated the parents like shit.
So Grandma found her a skinhead.
Grandma found her a racist, redneck white supremacist. And basically what happened here is, they didn't stay together long, trust me. But this guy, basically he was saying, she told me, she said, we're going to go out to the black part of town and we're going to go fight some N-words. I said, you're going to do what? She said, oh yeah, it's good. Bruh. That's the last time I ever heard from her. Yep.
She for some niggas.
I know it, right? That's why that didn't work out. That's why that didn't fucking work out. That girl had so much shit. You know, and I thought, oh, well, you know, when I would go visit her, she'd always be just reading books. And I was like, oh, yeah, you know, she's not, you know, I never thought she was real crazy. But there was a wild side to her that I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams. Like, holy fucking shit, girl, you're absolutely crazy. And I dodged a shitload of bullets. So I'm really glad. And I'll say it again. I said it a million times. Don't date these young girls. I don't even say date the ones, like if you're 30 and you're like, I'm going to date a 20-year-old. I had a buddy of mine, he's 40, and he dated like a 20-year-old recently. And he said that they're just so, you can't even communicate with them. They're on like another plane of existence almost. Their reliance on just social media has made them where they can't fucking communicate. Like they literally can't communicate in a normal fashion. They don't know how to hold a conversation. They don't understand emotions. He doesn't know. She didn't know if he was sad or upset or anything. She didn't understand what was going on. He said the first date was cool, but after that, he said it was trash.
It's emojis, man. Should express himself using emojis.
It's absolutely crazy. I'm like, dude. He's like, I'm not messing with these girls anymore. He's like, fuck it. Because he likes young, pretty girls. I mean, he used to date strippers at one point, which is a bad idea, but that's what he did. He's a Persian guy. He dated a lot of strippers. He plays in a heavy metal band. He's a real estate guy. He owns all kinds of properties. So, you know, that's the kind of thing he did. And he still dates these young girls. He likes the young ones, and unfortunately, they're not like they used to be. When he was dating them, I guess maybe when he's 27 or something, it was a little different. But now he's 40, and they're like, oh, shit, these girls are, what the fuck happened to these women? I was like, I tried to tell you, man. I tried to tell you. But, what, you thought all that manosphere shit was bullshit? Like, he knew what TFM was. But, yeah, he's like, oh, you thought it was all bullshit. And now he's like, no, I don't. No, it's not bullshit. I'm seeing what you mean now, finally, after all this fucking time. But that's literally what we got going on now. So, no, I don't recommend guys do what I did. You know, again, I didn't, just to be clear, I didn't have sex with any of these girls at all. That's one thing I did not want to do. I was pressured into it, but I went against it. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. You're way too young. Let's develop this over time, like a relationship, see where this goes. And even that's what her father wanted me to do with her, like before she went crazy. He said, well, he's like, I'll take you to the movies. I'll take you bowling or whatever you want to do. You know, he basically wanted me to develop a kind of relationship with his daughter that wasn't the crazy stuff she'd been used to. Because again, the other guy beat her. So, I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't even know what they're like now. They're worse. They're worse than the one. Oh, by the way, she was an emo and she fucking cut herself. That's another thing I forgot to mention. She would cut her damn self all the damn time. Yeah, when we broke up, she cut her fucking self all over the damn bathtub.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not Gucci.
Yeah. I was the second. I dated 2 damn emo girls. I was done with the emo girls after that. They moved from emo to alt fucking girls, then e-girls. Now they're e-girls. So when I see all these e-girls, I'm like, I know what these girls are like. I've fucking been there. Ooh, I want a big titty goth mommy. No, you fucking don't. I've been there. That was my type.
One for a night sporadically.
That was my type, damn it. And it did not work well. And they're like, oh, I'm glad all the e-girls are online and childless. Well, but no, they're not childless. I'm glad all the e-girls are online and probably not dating anybody, because you don't want to fucking date these crazy women. I'm sorry. They're absolutely fucking nuts. And they don't learn better until they're older and the beauty fades. And then what happens when an e-girl's beauty fades? What do you think happens when the e-girl's beauty fades? Give me... I can tell you, when an e-girl's beauty...
Total self-destruction?
No! When an e-girl's beauty fades, they're like, okay, time for me to settle down and find a man and be a traditional woman. I have seen it.
Oh, yeah, that.
Seen it so many times.
Failure and misery, sorry.
Yep, seen it
Look,
so
here's
many
the thing. Like, all these bad girls... These goth chicks, they're fun to fuck and nothing else.
Yeah, that's about it. They're a pain in the ass and they get on your nerves, and I don't know. I mean, a lot of women get on my nerves these days. Some of them are cool. But, for the most part, yeah. I mean, I still interact with my exes. Some of them. But other ones I don't. Like that one I was telling you about. I literally have not seen or heard from her in ages. Like, she's 30-something now, but I still haven't heard from her in ages. I don't know what she does. I don't even know if she's still on this planet.
You may never will, because it's going to be one of those things where, like, she just disappeared.
I think she disappeared into a body bag when she decided to go with her boyfriend to shoot a whole bunch. Well, I don't know, shoot. She said fight.
Well,
she said fight a whole bunch. She said we're gonna fight a whole bunch of N-words. I said, you're gonna do what now? Man, if Will
like,
was on,
I'm sorry, run that shit by me again?
Yeah, if Will was on, he'd be laughing his ass off right now. What do you mean they're gonna a whole area? Yeah, they were gonna go into the black neighborhood to start trouble. Who does that? Idiots do that.
That is the dumbest shit on earth.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's like, you're really gonna fucking do that? That's what you want to do for fun? Like, no, fuck this. And that's literally the kind of person she was. So I didn't even mess with her. It's like, But...
yeah, nah, you dodged a bullet, fam.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I know.
That's the thing. They're so out of whack. They're so off base. They're so destructive that it's like you're probably never gonna find them again or hear from them.
Oh yeah, and that's probably good, because who knows? She might be
like
missing
you'll never get confirmation.
I don't need it,
because
I got what you're saying though.
Like it's ratchetness.
Yeah, it's ratchetness. She probably's missing teeth and gained weight and everything else. I'm like, what happened to you? It's like, what the fuck? You went from that to holy shit. But yeah, it's just, it is what it is. It's completely fucked. That situation's bad. I saw another one of my exes. She ballooned. Like, she ballooned. I've showed you pictures of what she ballooned into. There's the one that Wilhelm wanted to get with. He was like, he's like, give me her. And guess what? She apparently is also racist. I didn't know that. It's like, really? I didn't know that. I was just dating girls that were into rock and anime. Well, anime, because she was a big anime fan, the girl I was talking about. She was a legit anime fan. She was big into that shit. She had like a tattoo of something on her from, what fucking anime? I can't remember. I don't think it was Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it was something else, but she was big into that, so. She was on the spectrum also. And she knew she was on the damn spectrum. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work out well. Because women, when they get on the spectrum like that, they do stupid shit and they don't think about it because they're on the goddamn spectrum. Oh, God, it's a fucking mess. It's a mess. But, again, guys, just don't fucking do it. Justin Roiland, let's just use him as an example of what not to do anymore if you've thought about it. You know, I think a lot of guys are now kind of going against it. Like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to get with these young girls. Fuck that. Don't do that no more. And I'm even gonna extend into, because they're like, oh, yeah, 18 to 25. I'm like, no. Take off the 18, take off the 19, take off the 20. If they're old enough to smoke, then maybe that. 21 to 25. How about that? You could date 21 to 25, but don't date 18, 19, and 20. Leave that shit alone. Leave the 16s alone. Leave all that shit alone. I don't care how much they try to ask
Leave that shit alone unless you are that age too.
Yeah. Even when you're that age, fuck it. Just don't even fucking date anymore. I mean, it's getting that, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that, but it's getting crazy for young men. They don't know what to do, you know.
It's getting bad enough that TikTok is starting to take off, so.
Yeah, I saw Hammer Hands. I didn't watch the video, but I saw the thumbnail on that. I gotta look at that, because I'm pretty sure he's got something to say on that TikTok. Now, there was one guy that said TikTok can't exist because it was, you have to experience a woman first before you understand, but I don't know. I think a lot of guys are starting to see with their own eyes what's going on.
Well, if you can see, like secondhand.
Yeah.
Right, like you're not dating a chick, but your best friend is, and you see the shit he goes through, and then you're like, I'm not dealing with that shit. Fuck that.
Right.
That is plenty valid.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't need to be.
It is absolutely possible to just see the dangers and not do it. Just because it may not be super common or you didn't do it, Tim, doesn't mean it can't exist.
Right.
Oh, that's the idea that can't be. Oh, there's a difference between wisdom and intelligence. Like, oh, I'm wise because I experienced this shit. Well, I'm intelligent because I'm not dumb enough to experience that situation. It's telling you that kind of situation.
That literally means you're more intelligent. Like you're intelligent enough that you were able to pick up on it, and you didn't have to learn the hard way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, just because you're a dude and you like. Just because you want to be mad that somebody else was able to learn it the easy way instead of the hard way, doesn't make it invalid. It just means you and a lot of other people fucked up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Be happy that someone else doing your mistake.
And that's the thing. It's like, okay, just because you fucked up doesn't take away my ability to not fuck up.
Right.
Yeah. Don't need to be married to know that divorce is bad.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You don't need to be married to study up on divorce laws and see cases.
Yeah.
And look at the stats of what happens and how.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
You don't have to go through shit to know it's bad.
All right.
You don't.
Oh yeah, I agree. All right. Well, we're going to probably close our discussion, and this has been a really good, it's not just been me ranting into the heavens, it's been everybody, so I do appreciate the engagement, and if we have any big topics like that, I'll definitely have you guys on again, but yeah, we're going to bring it to a close, and does anybody have any last remarks they want to say before we end the show tonight?
Always be careful about what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to the enemy as well as your ally. Not like to take what the enemy has to say and believe it. I just like educate yourself on what's being said and what's being done. And because here's the thing. Look, if you're navigating this world, you got to be able to see through deception.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Look at what this guy was saying that we ranted all night about here.
Right.
I mean, like, at best, he is woefully brainwashed and out of touch with reality.
Yeah, it seems
at
like
best.
It seems like.
But at worst, that means he knows all about this shit and is gaslighting you into being some sort of arbiter of what is acceptable and what isn't and what the truth is.
Yeah.
And, he's going to tell you all these quote-unquote revelations about shit and how, so-and-so's your enemy, while I proceed to tell you shit that the enemy would do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to harness the skill of discernment.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You've got to. Because if you don't, you are going to fall victim to the worst kind of shit, and it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
Because you didn't see it coming. You didn't know.
And
so, if you're curious about shit, look into everything.
Yeah.
Look into everything.
And I'll add.
And
go ahead.
Really focus on critical thinking.
Yeah. That's definitely
go ahead with what you were about to say, Grim.
Okay, and I'll exercise this. Now, this is something that Ear for Men actually mentioned a long time ago. Men need to know where their boundaries are, and they need to know basically what a balance is. A balance, the problem with Connor's segment to me is Connor was basically saying, hey, this is unacceptable to me. That's fine that you have those boundaries. However, you cannot enforce them upon everyone in the entire fucking, whether you're talking about the UK, the US, Canada, whatever. You cannot enforce them on the entire West. You, one person, 25-year-old man, cannot become Hitler. And that, literally, everybody wants to compare him to Hitler. Hitler, authoritarian, You can't become Hitler, Stalin, and Mao. How about let's use them all? You can't become this person and say, hey, you got to do things my way. It's my way or the highway. If not, we're going to shame you. We're going to destroy you. We're going to take everything you like and get rid of it because you're not what we want. That is not how you fucking mete out justice. It never has been. It's supposed to be about balances. Checks and fucking balances. That's why our government's supposed to have checks and balances, but it doesn't. So that's
exactly
what we need right now. We need to have balances. There's a limit. Do I like lolly? No, I've told you a million times I don't care for it. There are some games that I have lolly scenes in them. I'm not crazy about them. There's other scenes in the games I rather prefer. It's known. There are characters we do not play on my hentai segment because they're lolly characters, and I don't care about them. I'm sorry. Go find somebody else into that stuff. I'm not into it. But it's okay if you are. I'm not going to fucking judge somebody because there's like a petite anime girl, okay? I don't fucking get it, but it's whatever. You like what you like.
Like you said, personal boundaries are totally fine. But just because you have your boundaries doesn't mean you get to dictate what other people's boundaries are for them.
Right. That's the issue.
Because one, it's not your place to do that. It's not your fucking place. But two, even if you wanted to, you can't. You can't control what somebody else thinks about things.
Right.
And, my biggest thing has always been, because I keep seeing this constant shifting of the goalpost for convenience and depravity to the point that, here I am, I learned, at least for myself, I have to have a specified set of boundaries.
Right.
And I don't move them. Not unless something crazy I've never experienced before happens to me and it causes me to see
The world
things in a
differently.
different way
Right.
that forces me, based upon my conscience, to change where the boundaries might lie for the purpose of trying to ensure the best outcome that I can.
Yeah, and that's completely
Right.
normal. It's completely normal for a person
And you
to
know
change.
that's not a constant shifting. That's a,
Yeah.
hey, I got older
Yeah.
and
yeah.
I realized things I wasn't privy to prior.
Yeah.
And because of that, I changed where I was on some of my lines.
Yeah.
But the thing I've come to realize, again, at least for me, is, hey, look, the balance is, okay, these are my bounds. I don't cross them. Like, period. And then there are things where it's like, okay, I'm not going to engage in this unless this other thing forces my hand
Mm-hmm.
because of a change to the situation, right?
Right.
Like, if somebody else escalates something to an untenable point, then it's like, well, I got to do what I got to do in that situation.
Absolutely.
But that's completely different, and I've always maintained, like, hey, look, whenever it comes to something that is for an emergency, I've always done my damnedest to hold myself accountable for that and be like, okay, the emergency's over, this goes away,
Right.
period.
Right.
Because I can't stand hypocrisy,
Yeah.
and I can't stand authoritarianism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the bottom line is, my character will not allow me
Yeah.
to justify, crossing the line in a Machiavellian fashion perpetually because, I just feel like doing that. That offends my conscience. I don't do that shit because that's not okay.
Right.
And I experienced other people doing that kind of thing and disenfranchising me, so it holds special meaning to me in that regard of like, hey, that's not okay. That's fucked up. It's not okay to use convenience-based hypocrisy to justify bad behavior.
Yeah.
But that's all I got to say on that kind of thing.
All right. Well, with that, I guess we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next time on Grim Rants into the Heavens. And enjoy the decline, I guess. I'm out.